G Bloodworth at Twitter is the person who made the map that we are seeing right now. I think he did a wonderful job. This is the courtyard to Castle Van Dran. And then another map we will see later is made by Andrew Kaiser, Andrew Lyceum on Twitter. He made the second series of maps that we will be seeing, which is the actual interior of the ballroom. So, if there is anything that you guys want to go ahead and have us take care of now, it would be the time to do so.
I think I said that I wanted to buy a couple of potions, so I can let you know now what I want to get.
Okay.
I definitely want like 1 or 2 shield potions or scrolls, whichever it comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is gonna be right there. And how many of those did you want?
I'll take 2. 2 health potions.
Oh, we already did that.
We did? No, I already have some of those. I want more.
Okay.
I'll be right back, folks. Someone literally just came to the door. I'll be right back.
No worries.
So sorry.
This will probably take a minute anyway.
Okay.
And what was the other?
We've gotten scrolls of shield so far.
Yeah, 2 health potions.
2 health potions standard.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And I can only get up to level 1 spells, right? So I can only cast up to level 1.
That is incorrect.
That's incorrect?
That is incorrect.
And I then, perchance, buy a counter spell scroll.
You can.
Yay. How much are they?
I mean, 200 gold.
A little pricey. I will take 2, and that'll be everything for me.
Where did it go?
Persuasion on that one.
No. These are standard stock price.
Damn it.
You don't have any in. You don't have any in to get that. You need to take some downtime to try to establish something like that.
Kanan, you must set a better example for your nobleman's son. Noblemen do not barter.
Oh, I know the price of things.
That is the exact price of things. Okay, is that it for you, Noble?
That is it for me.
Alright, Kanan.
I'll take 2 pairs of winged boots.
You want to get winged boots. Okay.
Is a pair for Umok, because I would like to see Umok flying in a little pair of boots.
We will say that is 1,000 gold. You want 1 or 2 pairs?
If you guys want to fly.
If it's 1,000 each, I don't know if you want to spend that much money.
Oh, yeah, that's quite pricey.
I don't know if you could afford one for everyone if you're including the followers. I forgot how much gold you have.
Oh, he's got a lot.
I've got an... Hey, the wing boots, they let you cast fly, right? Or is it a...
You have a flying speed equal to your walking speed. You can use them to fly for up to 4 hours. All at once or in several shorter flights, using at least.
Does that reset, or is that, like, forever?
Every 12 hours they're not in use, they recover 2 points. Basically, they are made of 4 points. Think of the hours as in points.
Okay.
I'll take a pair.
Okay.
Can I get him in black?
You certainly can. Certainly.
Any color you want, as long as it's black.
Is there? Are you gonna? Should I add it?
What's up, buddy?
Should I add it to me?
Add what to you?
You already did.
I can't hear you. You're cutting in and out really bad, bud.
I was just seeing if you added it in my inventory.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh. Nice. That's it for me.
Okay. And what about you, Ashwell?
Honestly, I think I'm pretty much good to go in, as I recall. We got everything we needed. We were still doing the rope and the boat plan, right? We have acquired a boat? It's the only thing I gotta ask.
I don't think we've acquired the boat yet.
I would like to go and acquire a boat.
Absolutely. No problem.
We want to use that as a plan. We're gonna need a boat.
Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up boat. So you, I believe we discussed wanted a rowboat, correct?
Yeah, like a solid rowboat, not quite like a longboat. Like either a rowboat or just like a rafting stick. Either one works.
Yeah, so, it's gonna be 50 gold.
Gladly.
I don't like role-playing, or skipping all the role-play into all of us getting all of this stuff, but, we have a big, mighty session ahead of us. It's likely going to take multiple weeks to get through what we're about to endeavor in tonight, so don't feel like you're in any rush tonight, okay?
No, I'm taking that as a challenge to get it all done in like an hour.
Speed run.
Can
Roger
I
that.
use my persuasion to put the boat together?
I think it's already built.
Who's
Yeah.
gonna pay for the boat?
I'll purchase it. I've got 133 gold. It's not too much.
Oh no, let
yeah,
us
it's
handle
fine.
that. Are you sure? I mean, I've
Yeah.
got like over 1,000 gold.
I'm a rogue. I literally am probably not going to be using that gold for too much. Honestly, most of
Alright.
my work involves stabbing and poison. And the good thing about poison and knives, they're both cheap.
That
So
is true. Alright, well the next boat's on us.
fair, very fair.
How much
Besides,
is
I'll
the
get it
boat?
back. I'll just sell it at the market later, like slightly used boat.
That's a good idea.
May or may not
Okay.
get the king's. Might get everyone's rage on because it might have been used in a heist, but you won't know that until you're arrested.
You can rent it under a false name.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly the kind of thing
Stealer.
Assassin does, yeah.
Exactly.
Alright. So, is there any further business for us to conclude?
Not for me.
I'm done.
You got potions, Ashwell? You need those?
I think I'll be okay for the most part. I'm pretty self-sustaining with my abilities, and I shouldn't need it too much. I'll be good.
Alright.
Alright. Then we come in media res, as we said. How do you guys arrive?
In style.
With discretion on my part. I think, as I recalled, our plan was I was going to go in disguised as one of the cooks or servants in the castle. So I imagine I probably went in a fair bit earlier, or even like while the party was getting set up, and I might have even taken the boat there and then sort of scaled the wall to get in, and then tried to mingle in with the serfs as quickly as possible, so that I could sort of get in the crowd without worrying about having to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think... Let's see, because you have a class feature, so that would kind of supersede your need for a disguise roll. So how about... What would you propose as a skill for insertion?
In this instance, I would probably say, Honestly, it would probably be stealth as a result, either stealth or acrobatics. The stealth because I would be trying to get the boat up to the castle and have it sort of disguised. I assume I'd just put like brush and garbage kind of on it to try to make it look like just a floating log or something. Or the acrobatics to scale the wall discreetly. Either one, I think, would be fair.
That makes sense to me. Which one would you prefer?
Not gonna lie, I am good with stealth. That sounds good to me.
Go for it, homie.
All right, let's do it. Come on. Nice.
Oh
21.
yes. Oh yeah. How do you do you want to like describe yourself like Hitman or like Assassin's
yeah.
Creeding through the crowds?
So yes, I would on the boat up to the side of the castle and then sort of literally just have it covered in brambles and bushes and vines out of the bushes by the side of the lakes. I would then begin to climb up, one like step by step with pythons, and just sort of like carefully position each one between a rock as I'm going up, each between a block in the castle wall until I get to the top. And I just wait for one of the guards to slip to walk by and just jump on. And I'm largely wearing the clothing of the serfs of the castle, and probably the same colors. I might even have my mask disguised as with the like red cloth, so that it looks more like I've just kind of been injured. Maybe somebody punched me, and I had to cover my nose. And so I slip into the castle, and I sort of wait for a group of serfs to walk by, talking about work. And I kind of just slide into the back of them and join their little formation and go to it.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, no problem whatsoever. You have successfully inserted yourself within the castle and make your way to your designated point. Who would like to go next?
Well, I'm thinking Zorn would also separate from the group since he's disguised as a Red Horn. So he would probably go hang out outside the Red Horn keep or fortress, wherever they
That's not anywhere
reside.
near that's nowhere near the castle. Remember
Right, but I could have done that earlier in the day.
Okay, got it. I thought that you were ready for the rest of the parties. My bad.
Yeah, no, like I would have gone there first thing. I hung out outside, waited, kind of like in a similar fashion to Ashwell, waited until a group was walking by and kind of joined their formation.
Okay, and what skill are you going to try to use to make your way inside?
Thinking history, because the Red Horns have been around for a while, so there's probably a decent amount of information out there about, how they conduct themselves and, their lingo, maybe. So I could, not only walk the walk, but talk the talk. If anyone questions me, like my rank or something, I'll know how to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. What skill is that going to be?
I said history, if that works.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Not bad.
Oh, yeah, no problem. How do you successfully, what do you bring up to make yourself apparently supposed to be there?
We'll kind of take charge. I probably specifically picked out someone's uniform to steal who was of a slightly higher rank. Not high enough to where people wouldn't, would look at me and go, hang on, I know all the generals and I don't know you. Like, somewhere where I could still blend in, but have some authority. I just kind of take charge. I'm like, alright, you set up here, you're taking watch here, and I'm going to take watch over here. Just like, take the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. The grunts shuffle to and say, "Yes, Lieutenant," and make you get out of your way. And Zorn has successfully integrated his way in. Okay, who's next? You want to do Darvin?
Okay.
I forgot how we said Darvin was gonna blend himself in. He also has a uniform, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He would have just tagged along with me, acted like part of my retinue.
Okay, so what I guess we can go. We can do that without a check. That's fine by me. Okay, Kanan.
Me and Umak will go hand in hand up to the
Mhm.
front gate.
Yeah. So you are approached
Well,
by
well,
the guard. What's up?
yeah, like a father taking his daughter to a coming of age ceremony, you know.
That's adorable. Yeah. You're approached by the gate guard who like moves to stand in your way and says, "Name."
Kanan and Umak, Grok.
Uh, he looks at this like bundle of papers that he has stapled to a board of wood and goes, "Do you have any verification?"
Uh, I'm gonna, I guess, persuade him and tell him I'm here on business with the Baron.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So, what do you say to him exactly?
Uh, he ordered a outfit with my shop, and I'm here to deliver.
He looks to the other guards and they kind of shrug. He goes, "I kind of thought he didn't take anybody's business but his own husband."
I do like a little, what is that stuff called when you like mime, like do all this like movement, and
Pantomime?
I just like do like, yeah, I just do like this flashy outfit thing, where I'm like, how can you, what do you call it, refuse to let me in, and do like the fabulous thing with the hair. It's like an
Oh.
80s music video.
Hair flip.
Yeah, you do a hair flip, and he kind of nods and says, "Well, I'm not the one to ask, but you seem legitimate," and they allow you to pass as well. As you begin making your way up onto the platform, and before the doors are opened for you by the servants, there is a great flapping sound that pierces through the sky. It's almost as if the entire like sky itself is shaking, and all in a moment, with a crackle of green thunder, there is a burning snap in the middle, completely shattering the statue, the big gold statue in the center of the courtyard. And in place of it is this rather massive, hundreds of pounds, probably at least a couple of tons, this green scaled creature. It has all manner of gem-like protrusions from its face in the most brilliant of verdant greens that catch the sunlight at every angle and dazzle the senses. You feel this overwhelming presence crowding over onto your mind, and then this warmth kind of radiates from your finger, and you look down to see that there's like a little light coming off of your recently purchased ring of mind shielding. Atop this great creature is probably one of the most beautiful humans any of you have ever seen. She looks to be in her mid-20s, almost 30s, and she is sitting atop this huge, huge emerald dragon. The creature bellows in kind of like an exuberant "I have arrived," and you can see like all the people around him either struggle to stand upright or like kind of against their will go down to their knees and like pay reverence to this great creature.
Does Kanan see this?
Yeah, you're the only one that sees this because everybody else is already inserted.
Okay. I rub my hands together with the dollar signs in my eyes, and I say, "Can we steal it?"
Umok kind of chuckles and then looks to you, and then in Draconic says, "Are you serious?"
Maybe after this job.
Umok like sizes the creature up, and is just kind of dumbfounded.
I greet the lady on top.
Yeah. So as you descend the stairwell and make your way back down to greet her.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see that there is a retinue gathering to receive her. They all kind of like rush forward and do their best to help her off of this huge dragon. And as she like slides off, she's caught by a few servants. How are you going to approach her?
I just go up and I do a little curtsy, you know. I say, "How do you do?"
Yeah, so she's being talked to when you approach her, and you wait an appropriate amount of time for a moment to cut in, and she gestures away from the person that she's looking at over to you with the wine glass that's already been placed within her hand, and she goes, "Oh, a pleasure is all mine." And she just like gently bows her head to you, and is just staring at you, kind of deadpan.
I compliment her looks. I say, "You're very beautiful."
She smiles, and it's like this kind of like coy, crooked grin, and kind of says, "Ah, flattery, my dear, will get you nowhere."
But I tell her I'd like to see her in my clothing. Like, yeah.
She says, "Well, that would break the heart of a dear Fabian." She, like, looks to the person that she was just talking to. "Tell me, how long was he here for after their wedding before my mother whisked him away?" And the servant goes, "But a couple of months, my lady." And she says, yes, that's right." "Well, such sacrifice, made vain, well, that certainly wouldn't stand, would it?"
Kanan says yes and no.
"Tell me, is that one of your own that you are wearing presently?"
Yes, of course. It's one of our new line. We just established ourselves not too long ago in Blackwood.
She says, "Ah, well then, I do quite like it. The raven feathers are a nice touch."
I guess Kanan would have made some business cards, right?
Sure.
All right. Well, I
What would your business card look like?
it would be it'd be like the what was the name of our shop?
It was, Kristen Carl's. Now it's just Carl's.
Yeah, yeah, I would say Carl's on it, and then under new management.
She says, "Oh, so he left town and you moved in to take his place. Is that what you're doing here? A little capitalist."
How could you blame me?
We all want something, don't we?" And you can kind of hear like a snapping sound, and then suddenly there's a and the glass in her hand just like shatters, and like remarkably, it does not appear like she is bleeding whatsoever. The glass just clatters to the ground. The servants quickly like sweep around her and start to pick up the refuse. One of them apologizes for making the for the glasses being so breakable, effectively. And she says, yes, such a pleasure. Or, not a pleasure, I'm sorry. She says, yes, such a shame. Such shoddy craftsmanship here in Blackwood. Nothing like back home. And she is ferried up and into the party.
Interesting.
The dragon, however, is kind of standing, looking around at everyone, and then you feel its great, powerful gaze turn to you.
I give it a salute.
It kind of like takes a step forward, and its head like looms over you as it's like declining its neck so it doesn't just like barrel into you. And you can hear almost in your head, but then you realize it's just like this really, really low tone, like low frequency tone. It's like vibrating your bones. The large dragon is speaking, and it says in perfect common, "What are you hiding?" And then the ground begins shaking. And you realize that the creature is laughing. In a flash, blinding and brilliant, all at once, the creature's form transmutes, and where he stood, an elf, very, very beautiful, with ears that kind of end a little bit too long and droop down, and these scales under his eyes that look the same as the emeralds of the large dragon. He gently inclines his head and says, "I am Rixius. I believe there is food to be eaten." And he quickly makes after the woman.
I tell Umok, very interesting.
All right. So, do we? Are you going to make your way inside now, Kanan?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Ashwell can basically put yourself where you like. So
right.
can Zarn. Well, I'm gonna have to move.
Looking pretty nice.
Yes, this is the one made by Andrew. Huge shout outs to Andrew. What were you gonna say, Natalie?
Well, I can't see the whole screen right now. I'll wait till you're done. Okay.
Is that better?
What's the name of
I
the courtyard again that we're using?
The name of the person who made the courtyard was Graham, I believe. It's G Bloodwell on Twitter, and then the person who made this map is Andrew Kaiser.
I think he's asking which one to pull up on.
That is precisely what I mean, but
I am
that is good.
so
Fantasy
sorry.
Grounds.
I just dropped it into the chat.
Oh yeah, you're good. Okay, I see it. Perfect, thank you. I'm not used to that. That is fair though. It's good to know
Yeah,
about
sorry
who
about that,
made
but-
these because it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for the maps, guys. Hey, Dragon Crown, welcome in, buddy.
You can put Zarn and Darvin, like, as close to the Baron as they can be without it being suspicious.
Okay, so we'll say probably over here at these tables. Which of these 4 tables would you like to be at?
Where we are is fine.
Okay, so you're probably standing next to these tables, making it look like you're just ensuring that nobody's doing any wrong, right, Zarn?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure that Zarn's not going crazy on us. So what have you been doing in the interim time? You inserted a bit earlier You saw this woman enter with a large retinue, and for a human, she's pretty attractive. And then shortly after her, the elf, young-looking elf male joined her.
I probably did a lap of the room, kind of got a scope of everything, just making it look like I'm doing a inspection lap to make sure all the guards are in their places and, not goofing off.
Okay. Is there anything that you are going to try to set up for later or anything? I'm just making sure I'm giving you ample opportunity to do anything that you want to do.
I just kind of try and make not my face per se, because I have a helmet on, but just my presence known to the other guards, so, when they see me walking around in other areas later, they're not gonna be like, who's that guy? They'll see that I'm someone of a slightly higher, not status, rank, and that I'm, carrying myself with confidence, I can't be questioned what I'm doing.
Who's that guy? It's Zorn. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, while you are making your way around the place, Zarn, you come across a table with a fair-looking Yuan-Ti woman. She is swishing some wine as she sits alone, and as you walk by, she goes, I could smell you from a mile away.
Well, I just showered this morning.
You get that the idea that she didn't mean it in an offensive way. She kind of
I was
chuckles
saying
to
that
herself.
playfully.
Okay.
You know?
She kind of chuckles back, and she says, we don't see many of our kind here.
Indeed. May I ask what it is you're doing here, then?
What do we ever do? Learn. And we report back.
What is it you're hoping to learn?
She kind of tilts her head at you and give me an insight check.
Skills.
She says,
Oh.
sorry?
I was just saying I got a 12.
Yeah, so she says, well, I do believe that if you were supposed to know, you would.
Well, I say gesturing to my outfit. Perhaps I could be of some aid.
A guard. For hire, you dishonor us. Please, sit for a moment.
Oh no, you're being kind of disrespectful.
She flashes a toothy grin at you and does the eyebrow raise thing. Though she doesn't really have any eyebrow hair of which to speak, and just kind of gestures down at the seat across from her.
I'll remain standing, but we can continue our discussion.
How long has it been since you feasted on the heart of a mortal?
It's been a while.
How long has it drained their strength?
Yeah, time's kind of a funny thing. Could be months, could be years. I really don't remember.
How long have you been away from our kind?
Long enough to be slightly creeped out by this exchange.
She slides something on the table across to you, kind of effortlessly, just flicking it, and you can see this like silver locket. The locket itself is like a frame of coiled snakes with emerald eyes, and she says, "This is our gift to you. May it entreat you with good purpose." And she, like, soundlessly just slinks up out of the chair and places her drink on the table and turns on her heel and walks off.
It's not really my style, but alright, I'll tuck it away for later. I didn't verbally agree to anything, so this is not a binding contract.
Okay, I'm adding some character. I'm just going to put this on here, and you are going to put that. How?
Oh, I'm sure this won't come back to haunt me later.
So you finish your swing around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ashwell, you saw the woman enter as well from your vantage point. I don't think that you need me to explain it again. I can if you want.
You did a good job. I don't think that in any way, shape, or form attempted to interact. He is, after all, masquerading as one of the serfs. And that seems well above his station, or presumed station. Though he would have kept an eye on her and the dragon as it changed. Specifically the dragon, more than her, is his concern. She's probably dangerous, but the dragon could literally eat him whole. And he's not all about that. So he's going to mostly stick by the other serfs, as I imagine they're going through and like serving tables and doing drinks. Largely doing the same. And also trying to like keep an eye out for people who may or may not have good valuables, things to snag later on, maybe on the way out. The artifact we're looking for is on the woman from the dragon, correct?
No, you are here for a key that the Baron has on his person.
The Baron. Okay, that's fair. That will be his primary target, as he's largely sweeping the crowd to look for the Baron to see where he's sitting and how accessible he may or may not be to an eventual pickpocket at the appropriate moment.
Yeah, so you have been keeping your eye on him, probably staying as close as you would feel comfortable doing so. And at this time that the woman comes in, he was seated here at the table on the opposite side of the ballroom floor. And now that she has entered with this large swath of servants around her, he is very quickly up to his feet and making his way around the table to come and meet with her.
All right. I will, I'll move closer, you know, probably holding some sort of, like, plate of canapes or something. Trying to sort of stay in an approximate, not necessarily orbit, but, like, in the area around, so that it might be a little more easy for him to catch the Lord on the way back. And he'll try to listen to their conversation as they're speaking, but at a distance while he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can get close enough to make out what they're saying. He's greeting her warmly, saying, you know, it's such a pleasure for you to grace our city with your presence. Come, let us feast and eat and drink and be merry. What have you? He's speaking to her in Elvish. If you speak Elvish, I'm assuming that you do, but I don't know.
I think you do, actually. I think it's one of the 3 languages I've got.
Sweet. That would be easy for you to make out then. As he like gestures towards. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, ironically, only 2 languages: Common, Elvish, and of course, Thieves' So that's it.
Okay, so while she is a human woman, she responds in perfect Elvish. Ariok, we have business to attend to. And he, stops cold, and his arm falls flat, and he says, it would be dishonorable for us to speak of such matters without first taking part in tradition. And he makes to just turn and as if to kind of almost a power move, start walking towards the table, we're going this way. But as he turns, she cuts out a little bit louder, not loud, but just a little bit louder to be more firm. She says, Ariok, I will not hear of tradition. You swore your allegiance to my mother. She is whom you will entreat, and I am her in the lack of her presence. He slowly turns around and says, and for what purpose could the Empress not attend herself? And she says, she is rising. Her matters are not to be questioned, and her methods are her own. She reaches out with her right hand and just points at him and says, you will not question again. We have business to attend to now. And he kind of nods and gestures towards the stairs for the servants to go and clear a path for them. They begin making their way up the staircase.
I shall gladly masquerade as one of the servants trying to clear the way by handing my plate of canapes off to another servant who's off to do that. And do my best to try to clear the path for them while also sticking relatively close, but not suspiciously within earshot. After all, that is our key right there, walking away.
Oh yeah. So are you going to follow them upstairs, or?
Is there retinue going with them as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll do my best to blend into the retinue.
Can I also try and slip in there as one of the guards escorting them away?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Okay, so you begin making your way up the stairs. Kanan, you see this exchange take place. You speak Elven, so you know what was said. Are you going to attempt to follow after as well?
No, it's not really any of my business, so I'll pass them on the way down and greet them and tell them we have business later.
He pretends like you're not even there. He's entertaining royalty right now, so he's like, I'm sorry, I don't even know you.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't even say a word.
Damn it, dude.
Yeah.
I cast Fireball.
I will not be ignored.
Don't forget the big dragon in the room.
Yes. And the 2 very squishy party members who will most assuredly get eaten first.
You think you can cast a fireball? Just imagine what he can do.
Without a spell.
Legendary action.
Okay, Kanan is scheming on how to get the dragon person, you know.
Do you have Darvin come with you, or do you leave him below?
If it's not suspicious for someone of his rank to join, then he'll come. But if that's gonna look weird, then maybe he'll just come to a certain distance and then hang out in the hallway or something.
I mean, you're masquerading as a lieutenant, so it wouldn't be completely off-kilter for you to have somebody with you that's your assigned, errant boy, which is effectively what he is. So he plays the part exceedingly well. Kanan and Umak are still downstairs.
Does the Baron have his own guard, or is the Red Horns kind of serving that purpose?
No, so great question. The Red Horns are the city guard. They are paid. Blackwood's a hyper-capitalistic city. if that wasn't apparent. So the city guard themselves are actually like a mercenary company that have been requisitioned for the last couple thousand years as the city guard. They're called the Red
Well, I
Knights.
just
The
more need to
castle
know if
guard.
he's got.
The castle guard, on the other
Yep.
hand, are actually like sworn knights that are like dedicated. They're the only ones of their number. They're far fewer in number, but they would absolutely be at his flanks the whole time.
Okay, so that's all I needed to know. Since he already has his own guard, I'm just going to try and act like the highest ranking, like the red guard in charge of the other red guards in the situation.
Okay, so how close do you get?
As close as I can. Again, like with my history knowledge, I think I would know kind of what is and what isn't appropriate in these situations. So, just as close as I feel is not suspicious.
Okay, so as you approach, like, you and Darvin both approach this area. The castle guards, the knights of the Blackwood. One of them puts his arm up and says, "This is a private matter."
We are simply here to ensure you have backup if needed.
Guard the stairwell, then.
I nod, and pull Darvin aside to go do that.
Okay, so you both make your way over to the stairwell and stand watch there. Ashwell, how close do you get? You are disguised quite perfectly as a servant, so they're not really stopping you.
Thank you. I will definitely, again, try my best to stay within earshot, but not so, do my best to not stand out in the retinue in any way, shape, or form. I'll stick largely with the castle serfs who are wearing the same clothing that I'm wearing. Sort of stick in the middle of the group and sort of follow their lead, whatever they're doing. I don't want to seem like I'm leading. I don't want to seem entirely like I'm following. I'm middle of the pack, as ignorable as possible. Meanwhile, keeping my ear as sharp and keenly peaked as I can. I'm also doing my best to, as we're walking, study the Lord, at least, visually, and see if I could see a place where he might keep the key on his person.
Okay, give me an insight check.
Insight. It's just +2. Huzzah!
Ooh,
That was so
no!
close.
I thought it was
uncool. Just a tip.
Wherever it's hidden on his person, it's very well concealed. You don't make out any folds in his clothing that would belie some type of hidden object.
Fair. Okay, so this guy's not being a dingus about it.
Yeah.
All right, just gonna again keep close, then follow them as they're doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah, so you are handed a jug of wine and told to stand off to the side next to them, which is good for you because as you begin to fill up a new fresh glass for the princess, she turns to Norixius and says, "Shield us." And you can feel this, like, overwhelming psychic feedback, like, pressing down on your brain. All the other servants around you, like, kind of buckle their knees, almost cause them to crumple onto the ground. You're not really subjected to the same effect because you are very fortunate in having the shield, the ring of mind shielding, but you definitely see everyone who's not shielded with such a device kind of, as I said, buckle and almost fold.
I'll mimic them just so that I don't stand out. Not enough to drop the wine, but enough to, like, oh no, I have the vapors, and sort of, like, keep pace with everyone else in the room who would be subjected to this.
Yeah, the princess, like, looks at you with daggers in her eyes, thinking that you're about to slosh wine all over her. But when she sees that you don't, she just does that, like, slow pan of, like, I'm about to snap this dude. And she turns back to the Baron and says, "My mother says it is time." And the Baron kind of sheepishly looks to the ground and then back up at her and says, I thought we had an agreement. He says, the agreement is that you would bend the knee. And he says, I have done so. No one can say that I haven't. We pay tribute, we pay taxes, we even tithe to the church of her sword god. There is no other way for us to show that we have done everything than what we have already done. And she does not look too pleased by this, and she says, you have not yet abdicated your throne. He says, I thought we had an understanding that I would maintain my status as ruler. To which she replies, we had an understanding, and it has changed. He kind of like sharply stands up and says, I believe it is time for the festivities. And rather like she's biting down fury, she nods to Neurixius, who ceases the psychic discharge. All of the servants around you compose themselves once more.
Straighten up to match them again. Go set down the jug of wine and get ready to open the door for them.
Yeah, he makes for the door, and she allows him this moment of respite, knowing that she just had his mind blasted with, like, an overwhelming force. Give me an insight check on her.
Gladly. Let's see. Insight. Huzzah. So, there we go. 19.
Yeah, so she definitely noticed the power play downstairs, and this was her responding in kind. This was like, I don't really care what you're trying to tell me. We're going to do things my way, and even if it's only temporary, I'm going to trudge you all the way upstairs and then back downstairs just to prove a point.
Gotcha. Alright, that's fair. Literally, you will have this conversation with me now, sir. Alright, that's fair. Straight up, I can say Ashwell is not a fan, and particularly concerned, considering this is the lord who's ruled this city for how long, and he's left it a rather good place to be a thief. He's rather keen on that staying the way things are. While he's coming to the door, can I take one more opportunity to try to, like, look him up and down, see where he might be hiding the key again?
Yes, you can give me a perception check.
Heck yeah. Yoink! Yay!
Oh!
Nat 20! 28 total.
Fantastic. Nice. So your incredibly well-trained eagle eyes glance over him, and you can tell that he's been shaken. He's kind of like got some dried drool on the side of his map. Oh, thank you, Andrew, for the posture check. I will do so. I don't know if you saw the shout-out earlier, but I will do it again because I know that you're in here, and I want to pay some homage to my boy that gave us these beautiful maps. We're going to do G. Bloodworth as well, just because fair and even. So shout-outs once again to Andrew, Kaiser, and G. Bloodworth for these. Yeah, you can tell that in the inside of his ornate gown, he's got a platinum chain that like is just sticking out as he goes to adjust his collar. You can, when he jingles it, you can see something within the folds kind of like rotate, and to your expert eyes, it would appear to be a key of some kind.
Right, so it's beneath his robe on a platinum chain around his neck, you said?
Yep.
Okay, so the single hardest place to pickpocket somebody. Sick. I like a challenge. All right. No. Very, very. As the approaches, bow and open the door for them as they try to go past, and he'll do his best to again seem like he's Just another poor serf here, getting probably compensated far less than he deserves for the work he's doing, even in the castle.
Yeah, you are doing a fantastic job at it. The magic armor is doing a great job of carrying the weight and keeping you from having to make a bunch of rolls because your disguise is so perfect.
Thank you for the glamored armor, by the way. Oh my god, it's been helping my butt.
Oh yeah, we like magic items in my games.
Fair.
Yeah, so you guys, I'm guessing Zarn and Darvin, seeing the movement, you guys go downstairs ahead of them.
We'll start off ahead and then slowly trail back to where we're almost directly behind, sorry, I'm blanking on your name.
Ashwell?
Ashwell?
Ashwell, sorry. I didn't have Fantasy Grounds pulled up.
You're quite good.
We try and trail behind Ashwell because we don't know exactly when he's gonna strike and try and take the key. So if he, like, bumps into the Baron and kind of gives us the look or the signal, I want to be there to be able to grab him before the guards and quote-unquote part him away.
So I have a question out of a relevant question in character, but to be asked out of character because it'd be something I know in advance, I'd imagine.
Sure.
How long do we have to get the key to the woman in this party? How long is this party going to last from where we are now?
So the Fall
About.
Festival usually goes from sundown till sunrise. Now, most people don't stay the whole time, because most people can't stay up for 24 hours when they have, like, you know, lives to lead.
Right.
That being said, when the Baron retires is kind of anyone's guess. When he's like, okay, I'm going to bed, kind of anyone's guess. It's definitely not going to be before the princess.
Fair. Yeah, that question is how often or how early does he tend to retire during these sort of affairs? We have no idea about the princess. She's not used to this area. I don't think I'd have any knowledge, I imagine.
You can do a retroactive intelligence check to see if you could have gathered such intelligence, like in previous years when he retires.
Perfect. I'll gladly take it. Just a normal intelligence check?
Yeah, everybody can check this one, by the way.
All right. Let's go flat die. Nope.
All right, who wants to help?
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Darvin. That's not Zorn.
Darvin was actually the one to figure it out.
Yeah, Zorn doesn't know shit.
Yeah, Darvin somehow had the good grace to figure out ahead of time that the Baron usually goes to bed about midnight. He stays up for a little bit, you know, about half of the festival.
That was safe.
He and Kanan are the only ones in the party who can read.
Wait, is that true?
I was just joking because you guys both got
Oh.
a high roll.
I can, in fact, read, write, and in fact, even sign, thanks to Thieves' Cant. So, I'm
Yeah.
a literate boy.
But what do you guys? What are you doing as the Baron and the princess are making their way back to the head table?
I will
Kanan
say-
and Umok are dancing.
You guys are dancing right now amongst the other nobles and perusing.
Yeah, I say, Umok, that's my song, you know, let's go.
That's my
On a
jam.
rug.
Yeah.
Mama wants to dance.
You know what? Go ahead and give me a performance check for both you and Umok.
Oh god.
Me and the croc.
You and the croc.
Wait, that's the wrong one. Is there?
No, that was right. What about Umok?
Okay. Oh, Umok's so graceful. What?
So,
Sort of man knows how to dance.
yeah, he's got some like preternatural understanding of music. It kind of like speaks to him on some like primal level. And while he's not doing the same dance that everybody is doing, he is keeping time with them. And you're just very confused by it because you see everybody else waltzing, and so you're trying to like grab onto him to waltz, and he keeps like shuffling out of your movement as he's doing like a little like boot, scoot, and boogie, back and forth to the time of the streams.
Can I do an Arcana check on that?
I don't think there's anything arcane about dancing, if I'm being honest with you. Unless you're talking about the preternatural gift for magic. Or not magic,
yeah.
I'm sorry, for... Yeah, you can try to recall some lore about lizard people.
Okay.
Yeah, so a 23. You know that... You've come to understand that music is a vital part of lizard folk culture. So much of their day revolves around a time, like, synchronized playing of instruments that's not necessarily music to you guys, but to them is like, I've been working on the railroad, like cadence keeping time for like everybody in their cities that like stretches across all of it. And he's like tapped into that.
It's like the Parshendi from those what's it?
The
Stormlight
Stormlight
books.
Chronicle. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Haven't read it.
You need to.
Yeah, you keep telling me that. I should probably. Yeah, so you are definitely seeing him cut a rug and get down. Some of the nobles take notice, and they kind of stop dancing themselves just to watch him, and they're impressed. They like what they see. They're like, oh, that's new, that's quaint. Kind of in that like sort of racist way, but mainly because they have never seen a lizard folk before here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the who is going to be doing something next?
I'll say as I'm going down the stairs, I would have, like, having seen Zarn and Darvin walk up toward me, I would have, like, held out and did a not yet kind of gesture, so at least they know I'm not going to make a move upstairs. And I'll just sort of stick by their retinue and continue to serve drinks and be unassuming as much as I can, but also close enough where if I need or get a chance to make a move, I'll take it.
Okay. So how close do you want to move?
I think 15 to 20 feet at most is fine. If I'll only get closer when I have alcohol in my hand or food to bring to them.
Okay, so you're gonna move like over here?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Darn.
Wait, you guys are on the bottom floor again?
Yeah. I pulled it up.
Okay.
Sorry.
So-
It should be in chat.
Alright.
Darn.
Okay, we see the look that Ashwell gives us, and we kind of back off a little bit. We're still gonna remain in the general area, so again, we can, try and get there first if anything does go down. But we make it look like we're just posted up, keeping an eye on everything.
Okay. So as the as the Baron and the princess take their seats at the head table, you see all of the nobles come off of the dance floor and make their way to the tables, taking their seats. Kanan, do you and Umok do the same?
Yeah.
Okay. You make your way off to another table near the dance floor. It is at this point that the Baron stands up and begins giving like kind of a small, light speech. He's not really getting very like in depth in regards to what he's talking about. More of just like, we're all gathered here to remember the changing of the seasons and to honor our ancestor kin. Though religion is not like a mandated fact of life here in Blackwood, and he kind of like side eyes the princess as he says it. as it is in other places. We will pay homage to those that came before us. And he like raises a glass. All of the noble people around do the same, and they take a drink. He bows and steps away so that the princess can give her speech. As she gets a little bit more into it, and I'll spare you the details, but the gist of what she says is, for millennia, Ismira was drowning in the blood of man and elves. And it was not until 50 years ago that my mother claimed this land as her own. And it is to her that you should all give your thanks. For it is thanks to her that we are no longer killing each other. She kind of like looks at a whole bunch of individual faces when she says that, and Kanan, you can like feel the eyes kind of like burn onto you for a moment. She goes on to basically tell you that she is here because there is a big change that needs to come through Blackwood. That she is here to be the envoy of that change, and that like the turning of the leaves, changes upon all seasons here. She adds, eat, drink, and be merry, for on the morrow all will be different. And everything kind of goes quiet for a moment when she stops talking. And then the Baron kind of like steps in politics for a moment and says, cheers to change. And as everyone around kind of like reluctantly takes a drink to that, he bows to her once more and takes a drink. The floor is opened back up, and people kind of slowly make their way back to the dance floor, but after a moment, the festivities have kicked back up a bit, and people are a bit more in good spirits and dancing the night away, drinking and having a good time.
Zula needs to ease up a little bit. She is being mean. Continue to do my sneaky thing and keep an eye out. I'm gonna see if I might be able to get the Lord to perhaps get to bed earlier. Question, if I might ask, do they have food tasters here for the Lord?
100%, yeah.
Okay. That puts that straight to bed then. I don't need to be knocking out a random servant or anything. Yeah, no, that's it. I'll just continue to wait on them, hand and foot, just sort of like nod.
Okay. Kanan, Umok, do you guys resume the dance floor?
I call a servant over and let them know that I have the outfit ready for the Baron.
They nod and bow and say, yes, of course, I will deliver your message at once, as if he knows what you're talking about when you know he has no idea what you're talking about. And he quickly shuffles off to go inform the Baron. You see the servant pass by Ashwell and whisper something in the Baron's ear, who nods and says, Princess Quelana, you must excuse me but a moment. I believe that a matter of business I have to attend to has come to fruition. And he kind of like smiles openly to everyone and says, it will be to everyone's liking, I can assure you. And he gets up from his chair and has a small retinue sent off to gather Kanan and Umok. They escort you to the same place upstairs where we just were.
Can I attempt to tag along as part of that retinue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Guess we'll go back to guarding the stairs.
Okay. So you guys make your way up into the top portion. Kanan, you and Umak are definitely well aware of the fact that there's knights all around you, and they are clad in what you can absolutely tell is runic carved plate mail that shimmers, much like Zarn's does. Yeah, so you are kind of prepped by one of the servants. They say, keep your meeting short. The Baron has much important matters to attend to.
Of course.
Yeah, so they open the door for you and Umak. You are escorted within, and they allow you to present your gift to him. How do you do so?
I walk in and I give him a bow and I say, "It's nice to see you again. I have what we agreed on," and I hand it over to Ashwell to bring it over.
I take it gently and still do my best to remain as inconspicuous as possible, walk up to the Lord, kneel, and lift it up to present it to him.
Okay. He gingerly opens the lid on the rectangular box, and oh my, he pulls out the gown. It is stunning. And you can see like a genuine smile come across his face, and he looks up to you and he says, Kanan, is it?
Yes, I say, blushing.
You under-promised and over-delivered. Wonderful, wonderful. It's as if you captured his very spirit. How did you do such a thing?
I tell him a steady hand, and I compliment his husband's work as well. He is a inspiration to us all.
He nods to you and says, well, you have graced me with gift and then again with words. I do agree. My taste in men is utterly fantastic, and Fabian is no exception to that. Ah, but how I do miss him. He kind of like gestures out the interior window down to Princess Quilana. Says, they will not let me see him. They have been keeping him to hold me ransom.
Can I do insight check?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 15.
A 15. He is quite off-put by the princess showing up in the way that she did. He was expecting the Empress. He was not expecting the princess up until about a week ago. The last-minute change kind of like rattled him a little bit because, again, he was expecting somebody a bit more that he knows, and he clearly does not know her. He's a bit shaken up by everything that she's put him through at this point, and he's not exactly hiding it very well from you in this moment.
I tell him, why would they be keeping him? Blackwood is a fine city. You seem to preserve, I guess, preserve, like, promote good values. Why would they? I guess to extort you.
He, with another smile at the gown, he puts it into the box and closes it and says, "On the couch, please."
Quill nods silently and brings over to the couch and sets it down, sort of keeping an eye on it like maybe that's a way to get the key later to encourage him to get into that. But in the meantime,
He,
turns.
sorry, go ahead.
And I just over to his.
Okay. So he says, when Empress Stormwind took over, when she declared herself the rightful ruler of this land, she allowed me to keep my station. It has been some time since I've heard from her. I don't know what she is doing, and I don't know why she sends her daughter in her stead, especially last minute like this.
Wasn't she at Cagranaz?
Yeah.
She was the lady on the airship, right?
Yep.
Well, I let him know that I saw her in Cagranaz. She didn't seem to be in much trouble then.
He nods and smiles and says, "Oh no, I do not fear for her safety. I fear for what she plans." She let me keep my office as a gesture of goodwill. I don't believe that. I thought it was permanent. It appears I may have been mistaken.
Well, I offer my my allegiance to the Baron, and I will boycott. What do you call it? I won't buy goods from the Isle, I guess.
He laughs and says, that would be treason. To decline trade to the capital, that would be an act worthy of death." And he kind of smiles to you.
And I tell them at our workplace we promote, $15 minimum wage, OSHA, PPE is always provided.
He says, "It is wonderful that you treat your workers well. Is there anything else that you require of me?"
Huh?
What were you going to say?
Oh, so I say I strive for those ideals in my own business. Why wouldn't I expect the same from my providers or suppliers?
He nods. "Yes, well, I am to change. I believe that I will wear this gown this evening."
You would honor me, so
The honor is mine.
I'll see you back at the party then. And I curtsy.
Okay. You are escorted out of the room, and I'm assuming make your way to the stairwell where you catch up with Darvin and Zarn. What do you tell... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What do you tell Sneaky Boy?
I relay our conversation, and I tell Zarn we might have to kill a princess and enslave a dragon.
Perhaps we should focus on the mission at hand first, and then consider that a bad idea.
If only wild shape changed your health pool. Or, change shape, change your health pool meaningfully.
Alright, so the door is closed. Is there anything that you wanted to talk to Kanan about, Zarn?
No, I think we'll keep guarding the stairs, because we did it last time Baron was up here, so we don't want to look suspicious by leaving or anything.
Okay. And As the door closes, a couple of the knights step and like face away from the Baron to give him his privacy. And he begins to disrobe as if you're not even there, Ashwell, and like holds his arms out for servants to like start taking his already elaborate gown off and then start putting on the new one. There's 2 more servants in the room that are helping him with the dress.
If I can, I will assist. Big air quotes around assist, because what I'm doing is seeing if there's a way I can discreetly either get the mechanism by which the key is held on, if it's just like a solid chain, if there's a latch or something I can undo or loosen while we're doing this. Basically, I'm looking for an opportunity to pickpocket him while either of the serfs that are attending him are busy at other places, whether that be on his person or around the room for that key.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me an intelligence, no, not intelligence. I'm sorry, investigation check.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, come on, yeah, 18.
Fantastic. Yeah. So as the first layer of his clothing is like taken off of him, you can see where the chain rests, and you can see like a mechanism on the back of it. It looks as if like the little locking mechanism is inscribed with some kind of rune.
Magic. That's fantastic. So the chain is ruined, which likely means magical, which is a problem. Is it loose enough where it might be able to accidentally come over his head while we're doing the, again, accidentally in big air quotes, while we're taking his robes off? I imagine there's multiple layers of petticoats and things like that we're getting off of him while we're getting these robes on and off.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I would say that is something feasible. Thank you so much for the raid, Danny. I really appreciate it. Raiding with 6 people, dude. Thank you so much.
You can only.
So yes, yeah, I think so. It would be able to feasibly slip off of his neck.
All right. Okay, while we're doing this process, Ashwell is going to quickly look about the room and see if there's any other necklaces or jewelry in the area. Any chains, likewise, similarly sized, you might be able to get swapped out for the chain with the key, like a medallion or something. That at least that way, when the change, when it's being pickpocketed off of him, it doesn't immediately go, oh, I have a void of weight on my neck, and he wouldn't be bothered. Just trying to, do the old sleight of hand actual shell game of, oh, you didn't lose anything. I didn't steal a necklace. You have a necklace on. It's the same weight approximately. This is the Indiana Jones method.
Was that what you were going to say, Natalie?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I think that it's absolutely reasonable for there to be other jewelry in the room set about for him to pick from. And you find like a tightly corded gold chain that kind of heavy in your hands, and you think that would probably be about the same weight as what he's got on.
To get that in one hand, and when the last set of petticoats is coming up over his head, I'm gonna do my best to try to assist him getting those off and exchange then, and try not to mess it all up.
Alright, go ahead and give us that sleight of hand, my dude.
Okay. It all comes down to you. Please don't mess it up. A-do-to-do. Come on. Oh, you're so evil. How dare. Why is it not showing up?
I don't know.
Let me try that again. I don't know why it didn't show up. Sleight of hand. Come on.
There it goes.
Okay. Woo. I'll take it.
Yeah, a 22. Fantastic. Yeah, so you
Awesome.
how do you grab this how do you Indiana Jones this?
Okay, so with one hand, my right hand, I have the gold chain I'm replacing his platinum chain with. And with the other hand, I'm going to be sort of like gripping the back of his robes and helping them over his head, which I imagine is probably like a 2-person job. While I do, I hook my thumb under the chain on his neck as we're lifting all these robes and ruffles over his head, so it's, he's already got a lot of stimulation there. And as I'm lifting it, going to pull up on the chain as it's coming over his head, and once my hands are over his head, let the other chain down by my finger, and then sort of pull it back with the last set of petticoats, like as though as if, oh, I slightly slipped. Sorry, Lord. My apologies. Terribly clumsy hands of mine. And then immediately take the petticoat all the rest of the way off as we're getting the next coat on. Hopefully never exposing his actual chest. That would be scandalous. How dare we leave our Lord bare? But, meanwhile, take the chain and put it into, like, the same, like, pocket coat that I had the gold chain in.
Yeah, okay. You absolutely slip and slide that platinum chain on out of there. The key dangling like next to his ear for but a moment, and he like makes like a tisk sound and like looks back at you as you quickly like just let it slide down the sleeve of your cloak and continue helping him get dressed. The servants finish buttoning his coat, and he like touches his chest for a moment just to ensure that the chain is there, and then as they put the last piece of the gown on him and clasp the buckles on it, he nods to them, and they open the door for him to exit without another word to you.
I follow the retinue. Slightly humbled serf who may probably lose his privileges in that room.
Yeah, Zarn and Darvin and Kanan and Umok, you see the Baron and his retinue making their way out of the room and towards the stairwell after a couple of minutes of changing.
Like last time, I just kind of follow behind as if I'm still guarding.
And Schwell would probably give like a very simple like symbol with like the the rock on hand gesture from behind as a we nailed it, but a subtle one.
Well, we pick up on it and just kind of like Darvin and I exchange a brief look like, all right, we're moving on to the next stage of the plan.
Okay, so he makes his way down the stairs, and as everyone kind of like looks to him, they see that he is wearing a new gown, and we see some people like murmuring, "Ooh, my! How elegant the craftsmanship!" And people seem to be quite taken with the new gown. He kind of puts on a little show, strutting around, and does a little twirl, and as I'm assuming Kanan and Umok are making their way over to a chair, he gestures their way and says, "It is my most proud my most proud gesture to wear this fine gown gifted to me by Kanan of Carl's tailory." And they, the people around you look and kind of praise you with claps, and they make a show of gratitude, or he makes a show of gratitude, and makes his way onto the dance floor, where he begins doing the waltz with a couple of nobles, and switching between them just to kind of evenly distribute his time.
Kanan looks like one of those like celebrities at like the Oscars that's just like sitting at a table.
Just quiet. I'm doing to be polite. Clap. Congratulations on the thing I won.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I don't really know what you said. If I'm being honest with you, you cut out. All right. So, is anybody going to be making any specific moves at this point in time?
I will.
I think so.
I'm going to head to the privy as soon as I can. Saying indigestion, apologies. Too many canapes, and run to the bathroom as if I have intestinal distress. And once I'm in, going to close and bar the door and take the chain out of my pocket and ensure I have in fact grabbed the right thing and see if I can get like a good gauge or stuff to make sure it's trapped or anything.
You are quite sure that the chain itself is not trapped. No. A cursory glance can tell you that there's no mechanism on it to trap.
Okay. All right. I'm also going to, as I'm looking at it, want to know if there's a way I might be able to approximate this chain more realistically, some sort of duplicate or like a some kind of thing I can leave and in the Lord's room, so that when he eventually does find out, oh dear, I have lost the chain, he goes back up to his room. He doesn't have the most epic freak out in the world and just finds, oh, there it is. Ah, whoops. Even if it's just like a cheap pewter or like silver knockoff. Is there something I could have done to have arranged that?
So you could have done that, but what I'm about to say would unfortunately probably negate it, so we're not going to attach any gold value to it, so you're not necessarily losing anything.
Okay.
When you inspect the dummy, you recognize that like the chain itself is of like ultimate craftsmanship. It's one of a kind. It's these interwoven platinum leaves that seem to be like tightly bound together in such a way that like it looks like it should catch your skin and hurt, but when you like run your hand along it, it just feels like silky smooth to the touch. It kind of hums a little bit, and you taste ozone.
Yeah. There's no. I'm sure. I'm sure Ashwell in the room would have been like, "There's no way someone could have replicated this, even if I handed them the original." Damn. All right. He's going to take it and pocket it back again into his robes, and go back downstairs, and look to see if he can get near Zarn or Darvin, since they're probably the easiest to approach without setting off alarms or warning or like making anyone feel uneasy, and waddle up next to one of them and pull at the cloak and just whisper like, "I have it. I'm ready when you are."
We nod and like kind of give you the gesture, like we're ready to go.
I'm then gonna see if I can't sneak over closer to Kanan and Umak and like gently tap Kanan on the shoulder. Pardon me, my lady, and then whisper quietly, "Ready when you are."
So it is at this time that a beautiful elf woman, dressed all in swan feathers, a gown that is quite elegant and clasped with ornate jewelry, approaches, and chair is pulled out for her by one of her own retinue, and she sits down at it, and you all recognize Ethel, who kind of like nods and smiles. I have you situated in such a way that I think would be non-specific and not really stand out. Guards standing guard at the edge of the ballroom floor, where the characters are at a table and the servant is attending. Makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I say, welcome to the party.
He nods and says, "You've been busy."
I'm a lady of my word.
You have the key.
I glance at Ashwell.
And in response, I lower like a little bit of the cloth that's wrapped around my face, revealing a little bit of the white mask underneath it, and just give a nod, just so she sees like, oh, that's not a serf, that's someone else. Yes, and then puts the cloth back up so that it's just more like a normal serf again.
Yeah, absolutely. She smiles to you as well when she recognizes that you're not just a plebe. And she looks to Zarn and Darvin as well, and kind of gestures for you two to get closer.
We do. And, sorry, out of character, could you look at your phone real quick? Because I'm trying to order food.
Food?
Who needs to? I do.
Uh, okay, I sent it.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, so you and Darvin approach, and as you do so, she she says, "Deep in the bowels of the castle, find a great set of doors. They will lead you to a place lost in time, lost like Our Lady the Signet. I entrust that you will delve into the depths beneath Vandrean. Find the castle that once stood there. There will be a book, though it may not look like a book when you find it. I trust that you will know when you have it. Bring it to, and we will wipe our enemy from this city and take it as our own."
Kanan nods.
Do you have any questions for anybody?
How do we get there? Is there a passageway?
Yes, down past the privy that Ashwell went to not too long ago. Ashwell, did you have a question? It sounded like you were going to start talking.
I was just going to nod and again maintain my cover, but a positive indicator to her that yes, I get you. We're good.
Darn.
I'm good. No
Good
worries.
to go.
Okay. So, she makes to get up from the table when there is a loud banging sound that kind of like takes everyone's attention. As you all look over, the music stops suddenly as you see Princess Quilana standing opposite of the Baron. She is looking him up and down, and you can hear this roar of her voice echoing throughout the entirety of the ballroom. "You and your weakness have been ill-suited to the needs of the Nagoran Empire. I find you, Baron Ariok von Srey, measured and found wanting. You are relieved of your duty and titles, effective immediately." And she puts her hand onto the Baron's chest. And for a moment, nothing happens. And then, instantly, a blue-purple fire flashes over him. And with a roar like thunder, he is dust.
Oh, shit.
And we're going to go to a break. All right, don't go anywhere, guys. We are going to take about 5-8 minutes, and we will get on into it.
See you soon.
Okay.
I'm back.
One more time, I just want to shout out Danny for the raid. Thank you so much. Give a huge thank you to Andrew Kaiser, Andrew Lyceum on Twitter, and I'm going to make sure I get this right, G Bloodworth on Twitter as well. Thank you guys so much for all your continued support, directly and indirectly. I really appreciate it. Also, I posted a link to Andrew's Ko-fi, however you're supposed to say that, and you can find him. I believe we're just waiting for Omni.
I'm back.
He's back. All right, is everybody back?
Yep.
I'm here.
All right, so we come back in on what we left off on. The Baron was just turned to ash in the blink of an eye before all of you. Some people gasp in shock, some kind of like double over in horror, but most people are just kind of silent and stare at the death of the person that was all but for a couple moments ago, their beloved leader in this town. What do you guys do?
I think I'm one of those who just stands and stares. Like, I'm a red guard, so I'm quote unquote loyal to the Baron, but not as, strongly as probably his actual guards are.
Probably your sport.
What's up, buddy?
Talking under my breath. I would say that Ashwell kind of is a little taken aback. That actually, makes him take a step back as he bursts into fire and sort of like watches, eyes wide behind the mask, and oh, what did I get myself into kind of thing before he composes himself again.
Kanan.
Kanan covers Ulamog's eyes and says, "You don't need to see this."
He's shed a tear for the dress or the gown that's gone.
Yeah.
In a moment, the knights that were flanking, well, not necessarily flanking, but were standing guard at the edges of the ballroom floor, charge forward, and almost lazily, the elf boy with the long ears and the emerald-like scales beneath his eyes steps forward from her side, crushes one of their heads from on top of his plate mail, and in an unseen force lashes out and explodes out the chest of the man behind him, lifts him up off the ground, and in a brilliant flash of emerald light, dance floor is completely occupied by this massive emerald dragon once more, who roars out at the impudence of these knights to try and step to his lady. He flings the one that he had by the hand, and his tail whips around for him to face his prey. The man shrieks, or he tries to. His lungs are on the floor, and in an instant, it's over. He's down the creature's gullet, and a wash of psionic energy blasts from the creature's mouth, ripping a hole through the floor and forcing a huge crater to separate him and everyone around his lady.
At this, Ashwell's probably going to reach over to the other two and just like pull at Zarn and at Kanan's robes and be like, "We should probably go now."
Yeah,
We'll use the. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I said it'd be a good idea to use the commotion to make our way down.
Yeah, I'm gonna look like I'm trying to safely usher some people out of a area that the fight's taking place. Like, I'm not trying to interfere with what they're doing, but I'm just trying to make sure that the civilians who aren't, causing trouble can safely get out of the way.
Okay, so who wants to try to determine how well you guys get over there unaccosted? I'm not going to make it a skill challenge. I'm just going to leave it up to you guys, and you can discuss it amongst yourselves, because it is going to kind of come down to this roll to see if you get over there without anybody following you. What do you do, and how do you do it, and who's making the roll?
Let's maybe discuss what advantages each one of us have. Like, for example, I have pretty good athletics, so if I were to do it, that's probably what I would go with.
Pretty swift on my feet and pretty stealthy too, so I might be able to get us there at least discreetly or quietly. I am masquerading also as one of the serfs, so I could literally just be looking like I'm, "Oh dear, get out of here! Here, take the serf's exit." I could go last though as well, and I tend to have slightly better perception. I think I'd be pretty good at making sure no one is following us and discreetly knifing them if they get too close.
Okay, Kanan?
I can persuade people to take us downstairs.
Okay, so who wants to make the roll? I mean, you guys can figure it out.
+7 to mine. Does anyone have a higher one on theirs?
I have a +9 stealth.
+9.
Okay, that might be the way to go then. You have the most advantage to getting us out of here.
If you folks are up for it, I will gladly sneak us out of here.
Yeah.
Can Darwin give guidance?
Yes, Darwin can give guidance, so you can take a D4 on top of it.
Huzzah. Then, so, let's see. That would be a stealth. Then I'll add a D4 to this as well, as soon as after I roll the die. Whoo, 13 plus, that's 22 plus 2, so 24 total.
Excellent. Yeah. So we get a quick like montage of you moving through the castle, like around corners and past floors, um, until finally, after a long like, what we can tell is you guys like just delving into the depths of the place, like farther than this place should go. Um, I always want to grab the character. Okay, you make your way down a final stairwell into the dank, dark, dripping black that is the depths beneath Van Draen. As you make your way down, you can see that the oh hey, this actually did a pretty good job of syncing up the size. The large doors that Aerith told you of are indeed. It's this like maze of inscriptions that line this huge, like 50-foot tall stone door, banded in cold iron, glimmering in the torchlight that almost eats the light that comes off of the torch.
If there was any doubt that we were here, I think that's behind us now, isn't it? Shall I do my thing? And I sort of pull the key out from my sleeve and sort of show it a little bit.
Zarn nods like he thinks it's a good idea.
I tell him to check for traps.
All right, not a bad option.
That is also a good idea.
Let me take a look and see what I can make of this. And I'll give the door a once-over if there's anything that looks like it could be trapped, or any sort of magical defenses, or physical defenses I'm not aware of.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Woo! +8. Come on, baby! 14.
So you can see that there is a mechanism on the inside of the lock that if you try to fumble with something in here that wasn't exactly specified to the key shape, it would activate something. You look around as to what that might be, and then you gaze up at the top of the 50-foot door. You kind of like put your night vision goggles on to let you see all the way out of the black. And there's like this gargoyle head that sticks out from the archway. And you can kind of see this like mist faintly coming out of its mouth.
Oh, well, that'll do it then. Good news, there is a trap. Or I should say, bad news, there's a trap, and it is above us. Good news, it only goes off if you don't have the real key, which he twirls it in his hand. I actually got, and just sticks it in the lock and turns. No ceremony at all.
With a low grumbling, you can feel this like static discharge flare throughout the air, and the doors, like on their own, causing you to like step back, begin opening towards you. This slow stone grinding of.
I'll stand back a little bit, just to make sure it's not gonna crunch me.
Zarn will volunteer to be the first to step through, being the tankiest of the bunch. Something does happen, I might... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, can I cast Mage Armor?
You can absolutely cast Mage Armor. Make sure you deduct the spell slot.
Okay. Where is that? Action.
Yeah. Zarn, you were saying?
Zarn's just gonna go through first, because if something does, happen, he might be able to withstand it.
Okay. Zarn makes his way forward.
Draw my weapons and get ready to do a little delving into said dungeon.
How far forward do you want to move, Zarn?
Like, as far as you've moved me is fine for now.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure, like, walking through the doorway wasn't gonna trigger something.
No.
I can only have 30. Never mind.
Then the scale is a little bit wonky. Try to fix that on the fly real quick. Yeah. That looks better. Okay.
Yeah. You want me to control Umok?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead and that should be probably as close as we're. Okay, there you go. See. Okay, let me go. This. We're good.
Yeah, what's Umok's speed? Is it 40?
Fast as fuck.
40?
Yeah, I think so.
You have it as 0.
That is speed at 0?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I believe it should be 40.
He's a statue.
Not letting me. Oh, it's not letting me do it. That's fine. You should still be able to move him anyway.
Alright, go ahead.
Ashwell?
I suspect I'll probably stick towards the middle of the pack. I'll stay relatively behind Zarn, or at least close enough where I'm basically trying to make sure I'm keeping an eye out for traps that Zarn might be stumbling into. Zarn might be the first person to get hit by them, but I'd rather we not trigger any at all.
So, you guys can do me a favor. Up in the top right-hand corner, there's the party sheet. You all remember where the party sheet is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
People, right?
click that, and yeah, it's little people. Go ahead and click that, and then click the third tab where it says order, and let me know how you guys would want. In order. So Zarn was out front.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want
Second.
Darvin?
Umok is
He has an armor class of 18, so he can be, like, beside me.
Okay.
Can I have Umok be the rear guard?
Okay. And then Kanan behind Darvin.
Yeah.
Hey. So we're gonna go ahead and. And there we go. All right, into the darkness we plunge.
Kanan's at home here, you know.
I like dark. Not particularly keen on being somewhere like this, though. We're right below all that insanity. We sure there's no way that anyone will follow us? And we close the door behind us somehow.
I think it's closed already, isn't it?
Almost as if to answer you, the great doors swing close. You can taste static through the air once more when they seal, leaving you with only dust and echoes.
There we go.
Ominous.
That's perfect.
Alright, Darvin, let's lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ash. Hey, are we on a first name basis now? Yeah.
Ash
I
is
thought
fine.
we already were.
You can call me Ash. It's fine. Easier than the full title, to be fair.
You come into a large junction point, there are several paths which branch off, one of which seems to have collapsed in some sort of way. You should be able to see everything as it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Mhm. Someone want to do a perception check, maybe? I'm not very skilled at that.
I definitely will do my best to. Again, I'm kind of on the lookout generally for traps, so any room we're entering, I figure Ashwell's giving it as thorough a visual inspection as he can from rank 2.
Yeah, you scan the area, and there's nothing in this room that seems like it could even be trapped.
Okay.
That's
Seems
good.
clear enough. Can probably keep going.
Yeah.
I hope. But yes.
So you guys can kind of move yourselves a little bit. Try to keep it like 15 feet or less.
I can't move myself. So
You can tell me where to move you.
I think we wanted to go straight ahead. Unless anyone else wanted to go a different way.
So straight ahead would be down this route, correct?
Yep.
It'll actually, yeah. If I can peek my eyes down over, say, this way, I would like to.
Okay. You make your way over to here where you see a torch light, very faint, as if it's flickering against the blackness itself. Do you go closer, or is that as far as you want to go right now?
I'm gonna hold my hand out in kind of a halt kind of thing, and do my best to sort of like gesture to them, like, "Hey, there's torches in there. There might be people. Let me look." Um, and he's gonna just try to stealthily peek his head around the corner and make sure that whatever it is actually not people, or if it is, that they don't see him.
Yeah, so you peek your head around the corner to see 3 suits of immaculate plate armor. They seem to be the same carved armor as the knights from upstairs that, well, they didn't really seem to be too much protection against a dragon, but they are plate with rune inscriptions.
Peek my head back around at the group. Does anyone want any armor?
Mm-mm. Darfin could use some plate armor if he's able to use that.
I don't know how safe it is, but it seems like there's 3 of them down here that are roughly the same kind as the dragon guards. We might want to be careful. I don't know if they're trapped in some way, but
Yeah. Maybe on the way out. Probably best not to mess with that stuff right now.
For the record, not the Dragon Knights. The Dragon Knights are from the Empire. The guys that you ripped off last time was the Empire.
Right, sorry. Different guy, yes.
Just making sure. I don't want to give you the wrong impression, is all.
No, you good.
What's around the other corner?
What is around the other corner? If there's anything for me to be able to see up there.
So, Zarn and company scooch on forward, or Umok cannot see shit. As you scan around, you can see that there is a collapsed tunnel back that way.
All right, just more fallen stone. This place is probably in relative disrepair.
It seems like it's kind of like over time, the aquifers that rest beneath Blackwood kind of eroded some of the foundation here and caused the tunnel to collapse. You can see some water, old and algaic, formed at the bottom.
How safe is the rest of this tunnel, then, if I might ask? Or does it seem to be safe?
Darvin looks around and knocks on a couple of stones. He licks a rock. He licks a brick. And then he looks to you and goes, "Seems safe. At least this one."
Well, shrugs, I defer to your expertise. Lead on.
So we're gonna continue straight ahead.
Information.
What is it?
Can I do a stealth roll?
You want to do a stealth roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to check that room that Ash went into.
Okay, so you are going to drop into stealth and go into the other room. Go ahead and give me the roll.
Alright. There might be treasure. Oh crap. Alright.
So, Kanan, you...
Maybe I can see it.
Go ahead.
I said maybe I could see more since I got 120 feet.
It's going to represent how far of vision you have on the actual fantasy grounds. So that's not going to necessarily come into play here. Plus, there's a light in the room. So you make your way in, and what are you trying to look for?
I investigate
Go ahead.
for any treasure.
Go ahead, Holmes.
We might need treasure for future bills. Oh crap.
So as you search around the room, you notice that it is completely bare, save for the 3 suits of knight armor standing at their vigil. As you begin looking over the armor itself, you notice that there's several jewels set into the framework of them. Looks quite extravagant.
Can I see what's through the door?
Yeah. You approach the door.
Alright, I look through the keyhole. Is there a keyhole?
You look through the keyhole, and all you can see on the other side is a wall. There's light, though.
Is someone's living quarters?
You can't tell from where you're at.
Alright. I go relay the information with the team. Team, there's someone living here.
Uh-oh.
Someone or someone's plural?
They got jewels.
We could grab it on the way out. We'll have to come the same way, right? It has to go through the door. So, depending on what we're dealing with on the way back.
Kanan makes a mental note. All the jewels.
Okay. So,
I say onward.
onward you go. Come to... You make your way down to where you can see another corridor intersecting with this one. The corridor trajectory that you are on leads to a dead-end, a collapsed tunnel. However, there is a door over here. There is a opening between the bricks over here. And I shouldn't have moved you that far, but that's my bad. And then down here as well. What you can see from here amply is that there is a large gate on the south. The entirety of it seems to be open, and the construction of the arch is entirely made from the skulls of dead people.
Oh.
It's spooky.
Have I mentioned how much I don't like working around corpses? I don't like working around corpses, believe it or not. I don't trust a corpse I didn't make.
So it's kind of up to you guys who wants to go first and where you want to go.
Can
You
I
can
check
always
the
talk
door
about
in
it in
front
real
of us?
time. You want to check the door in front of you? It is locked.
I call Ashwell over. Do your thing.
So try as you might with the lockpicks, it seems as if like there's nowhere for there's no tumblers.
This door is strange. No lock. It could be barred from the other side physically. It's not really locked so much as jammed. And he puts the picks away. You could take a look at it later. What type? Actually, hold on. What's the door made out of, like material-wise? Is it stone or is it something else?
Stone and banded cold iron.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have a crowbar, but crowbar won't work against stone and metal. That's even my weight class. We could always come back around. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the way out of somewhere. We might be able to find our way into. At least the way this, from what I can tell, the layout here. This feels like an exit, not an entrance.
Darn, you've been awful quiet.
Sorry, I'm eating. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
I'll check the upstairs.
It's not upstairs.
Let me go around the corner. Let me go around the corner first. Wait.
And I will go
Very
closer to here and see if I can't see what's up with that door.
That's it. I see a spooky tree.
You see a big spooky tree. There is a pale green glow coming from some shaft above you, Kanan. This tree is old and rotted, and the smell of an ancient library kind of like overpowers you. Not literally the smell of an ancient library, just like rotten books is just overpowering you. Ashwell, as I said, there is no obstruction down here. There's as you move closer, you can see a massive pile of bones. They're all swarmed in like concentric rings around this central statue, and you can see that there are also other It's kind of hard to tell, but there are other statues on each of the walls, and from the chest of these statues, and completely covering one of them, there's this kind of like pulsing black purple vein, all tangled and weaved amongst the rings of bones.
Darvin and I will go take a look at the bones. He's gonna see if he can maybe perform a medicine check to determine, if these people were slaughtered or if maybe it's just like a natural death.
Can I check for traps? This looks like a trap to me,
To
my trained dungeon eye.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead, give me perception.
Right. Perception. There it is. Yes. Perception. Okay. I see it. I know why it's not rolling on there. It's because it's going onto my character sheet, which is over the tray. That'll do it. Oh, that's not much better. It's 12.
Standing out from the statue, wrapped in these purple-black veins, there is a shining silver necklace with 3 emerald beads that kind of very, very faintly pulse with the same undulation and discoloration as the veins.
Okay. Well, that's magical. And probably very dangerous. Be careful, folks. I think this room might be some kind of trap, and I think it's tied to that necklace. I couldn't tell you more than that. This is magic, and that is, sadly, the one thing I'm not trained in.
In that case, Soren's gonna do an Arcana check first.
Go ahead.
No.
This is unnatural. What is this? What the fuck is this? What are these veins? Why are all these skeletons in a circle? What the fuck is going on?
I'm gonna call Kanan over. Let's have the wizard take a look at this strangeness.
I think that'll be best. I'll stay here and keep an eye out.
On a check.
Umak is getting a little bit perturbed because there's no light. And he can't see shit.
Why
I
did you get
lied
rid of
it.
all your torches?
I light a torch as I check the door.
Do you give it to Umak?
Yeah.
Okay, I
So
can
here you go, son.
make him light up. Token light on Umak. Did that work? I don't know. Hope so.
I also can't tell with the night vision.
Let's see. Yeah, so the reason that you can see is because it's you have your night vision goggles, and it is giving you. I'm not sure if that worked or not. It doesn't look like it did. No.
Yeah, I'm able to see other light sources. I just don't see any light source off of him.
Add light to Umak. Add light. There we go. Fantastic. Figured it out. Let's go. Look, now there's color.
Yeah. Oh, I can see that. That's awesome.
Because according to the rulebook, dark vision is all in black and white and shades of gray.
Infrared.
Yeah. So you got a 22 on your Arcana check. You can feel the sympathetic vibrations coming off of this necklace dangling out by the statue's outstretched hand. The pulsing is filling your head with this like nauseating roil that you have to delve within your own strength reserves to like keep yourself from doubling over. If you had eaten, you'd probably lose your lunch, so instead it's just this like dry heaving from this noxious, overpowering arcane manifestation of death.
So probably don't want to touch it then. Can Jarvan just do a medicine check with his eyes? To, like, kind of get a little close, not too close, and just look
Yeah.
over the bones.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nice.
So he looks over all the bodies, and when he turns back to face you, he goes, Master Zorn? Master Zorn?
Yes, Jarvan. What is it?
These people. All their bones are intact. What killed them? It had to be...
Well,
He, like, kind of shuffles around the bone pile a little bit. Something stole their life.
quite strange.
Quite dangerous. I don't like this. Is there anywhere else we can go? I think this room might be, just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Up to you guys.
What's down that little hallway up ahead?
So there... You guys go back up where Kanan was. Kanan, you saw a big fuck-off tree, as I said. I will go ahead and move everybody up there if that's where you'll want to go.
It's a grave. Yeah, I was gonna investigate it.
Okay.
Who's got investigation? Oh, I got it.
You're better than
Do I
me.
do it?
Go ahead.
I did it.
Nice.
High up in the boughs of this tree, nesting in its branches, you can see the tiny fluttering of prismatic wings that catch this green light. And on the wall opposite, give off the most brilliant rainbow, every color dancing along the surface. What the source is, you're not sure.
Do I have a climbing speed?
No. You'd have to make a check of some kind. Zarn?
Even though I'm in plate mail, I'm pretty athletic, so I could give climbing the tree a shot.
I just wanted to be fair. You guys can do it in whatever order you want to. It's just I try to keep track of how long it's been since a player is gone. So if anybody else would rather go, then that's fine.
Is any? Go ahead.
I'm happy to climb up too. Pretty dexterous with this kind of thing.
Do you both want to go?
Yeah, might as well. I mean, that gives us a better shot of actually reaching what's up there.
Okay. Go ahead and give me athletics or acrobatics check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Decent.
I can do either, so whichever one you're better with.
I did athletics.
Okay. And I will do. I'll do acrobatics, then cover. Come on, here you go. All right.
Yeah, no problem. Both of you find ample handholds and begin your ascent. You're about halfway up the tree when you hear Darvin yelling out, Master Zarvin! Or, excuse me, Master Zarn! Master Zarn! And you can hear the sound of snapping and some kind of, like, rumbling, and you can feel yourself being violently shaken. I'm going to need Constitution saving throws from both of you guys to maintain your footing. You are 15 feet up. Or your handhold, not your footing.
18?
Uh-oh. I don't know why I did it twice, but that's an 11 either way.
So Zarn, you take a tumble. Go ahead and give us a dex save to reduce falling damage.
Wish I bought some boots like Kanan. Okay, that's not bad.
Okay. I just realized why. Kanan, you gotta ask your questions better, bro. You don't have a climbing speed, but you can have a flying speed, homie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I completely forgot about that. That's so fucking funny. Okay. Just a second.
I used my reaction to carry Sarn down like a superhero.
You gonna catch me?
You want to try to make a dexterity saving throw to save Zarn?
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead and try it.
My hero.
Awesome. So we will say that Zarn takes half of half. So that is going to be 3d6. Okay, we're going to cut that in half, and then we're going to cut that in half. So that's 2 damage that you feel as your feet collide with the ground below you.
My delicate ankles.
Oh, it's not going to cut it in half again, so I'm just going to put 2 on your thing. How? Your feet feel the vibrations as the tree is uprooting itself and is now going to be going into combat with you guys. So let's go ahead and have y'all roll your initiatives for me.
Oh, man.
Hey, the tree should be grappled right now, right? Because
you cannot grapple something that is this much bigger than you.
Oh, no.
Ashwell is grappling it, right? No.
No, I'm just... I just have an initiative of 4 because I rolled at least it's a natural 1 on the initiative. I'll take it.
And Umok and Darvin will get their own initiatives as well now.
Alright, I roll for them?
Yeah, you can roll for your homies.
No, Darvin.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay. So, Kanan, you see the tree uprooting itself, the rot covering it, supperous black ichor pouring from knots in the wood, and it begins to shake as if it's trying to get the rogue off its back.
Oh, you were so beautiful. Maybe it was a trap.
You'd have to be right here because you caught Zarn.
Okay. So I, oh, so it's in my range. I can't spell.
Depends on the spell.
I'm gonna, so how high up is this tree? Is it 50 foot tall?
I would say that yes, it is about 40 to 50 foot tall. Its size huge.
Okay.
So it's not the widest
So I
boy,
can-
but it's tall.
So I can fireball it from, without killing everybody?
So you're gonna
Damn.
launch a fireball high up into the air?
I am in the tree.
I was gonna point that out.
It is also flammable, and I would like to get it down.
Okay. Asheville, it's nice to know you, but the tree's trying to kill us. Oh no, I'm just gonna. Actually, I cast darkness.
Okay, you are shrouded in darkness.
And I fly up, still within its range.
Darkness
And,
centered on you?
Yeah. Can I, like, block its vision with it?
I will let you try. So there's not really a mechanic for special actions in 5th edition. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to give you a Arcana check. And he will, whatever your DC is, he will roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Okay, so he needs to beat a 19 with his dex. He does not. He is, like, reaching up and clawing around his eyes, and he's just missing, unable to really see anything. Zarn.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, do you have something else?
And my turn.
Okay. Zarn, the darkness has left its covering of you down on the ground. You can see.
Okay. I am going to... How far back am I?
You are literally in its threat range.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna start chopping away at it.
Okay.
I doubt I can cut it down, but I can at least do some damage.
You used the wrong thing.
Oh. Oh, that's my hand axe. My bad. Not trying to chop it down the old-fashioned way.
Okay, make sure you're rolling onto it in the combat tracker, but I'm pretty sure 20 hits.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, so your first strike, you smack a huge piece of bark off of the tree, which crumples beneath your sword,
Oh,
and the
well, yeah.
fire lashes out. Oh yeah,
I
give
just
it to
crit
him.
on it. Release my friend. Not a big fan of nature.
Ooh!
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, so with your
Fuck
first...
you, nature.
With your first move, you knock off a huge section of bark on its backside, exposing like this big black spot that's just continuously leaking this ichor, and you stab deep into it with your flaming sword, gouting the entire area with your... what color fire did you say your sword has again?
It's like a pale green.
Yeah, with this pale green fire that shoots up the hollow of it and out of its nose and eyes and mouth, and it roars this sound like a great bonfire.
Yeah.
Is that your turn? Hey.
I know who it's gonna be coming after.
Yeah, so anybody who just attacked him, which is going to be Czar, needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no!
Yeah. Did that apply it to you automatically? No, it did not. Okay, that was maximum. You got covered in acid. The sword certainly did a good portion of damage to the creature, but you also cut into a deep, thick vein of the Icarus substance, which has now washed over you and is beginning to sizzle away at your rune-inscribed armor. Now on its turn, it is going to make 3 slam attacks. So it's going to make its first one at the boy who just hurt him, and it's going to be doing so blindly. Slam on Zarn.
Yeah.
Thanks to the homie, it narrowly dodges you. The force of its fist hitting the ground where you stood sends rocks and waters pluming up like 20 feet up into the air. With its second attack, it is going to try to swing at Kanan, and it is going to be doing so at disadvantage with its other hand. It grabs you out of midair, and rather than doing damage to you, Kanan, it is just going to hold you. And then with its third attack, it is going to try to reach behind it and grab the rogue. So no longer disadvantaged because it is no longer blinded. If you think mechanically that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry, I didn't make the rules.
Good.
Oh, and it grabs him as well. It's going to reach back, and it's going to... Now it has both of you guys grappled. It is size huge, so it can technically do that. And it is Ashwell's turn.
Oh boy! This is gonna be fun. Okay, so... Just to make sure I'm clear, the glowing thing we're trying to get at is higher up in the tree, right?
Yes.
Okay. Which means that if we bring the tree down, it works just as well to get it down to our level. I was hoping I could sneak my way up and not poke at it and not be the problem, but apparently I am part of the problem. So, guess we're gonna have to make it part of the problem now. I'm gonna have him just take a deep breath and just be like, all right, let's get to work, and begin hacking away with his guitars, listening to the tune in his head as he's swinging his blades about. I'm gonna try to do a lunging slash with my with one of my superiority dice of my attacks.
Does that require movement? Because your movement is technically 0 while you're grappled.
It actually doesn't, hilariously.
Okay. It's just
what
an
it does instead is it extends my reach by 5 inches, or by 5 feet, but that doesn't matter right now.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's nice actually. We'll just double check, make sure. Yeah, no, that's it. So I'm going to take my first swing at him with that. So we're going to go over here to weapons. It's going to be in actions. Here we are. So no sneak attack because I'm obviously,
Yeah, he sees you coming.
and he's got me in a grip, so there's no advantage here. So we're just going to go with one of you guys, and then I'm going to add a D8 to this afterward because it is a superiority die. So I think this is D8, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to do this plus a D8, so that's a 19.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So the D8 comes in on the damage. So it's 36 plus 4. So this, I'm going to do this. Nice. That's 9. And the D8. Come on, buddy. D8 damage.
Wait, hold up real quick.
Yeah.
What kind of damage do your guitars deal?
Piercing magical.
Oh, shit. It does not seem like this tree gives a fuck about the piercing damage.
Okay. That's a problem. I am completely useless then, you guys. So
When I say that, I mean he resists half of it, not
Okay, that's more
immune. Sorry.
no, you're good. I'm gonna roll the D8 here in the pool because it won't let me drop it onto him as an extra damage. So that's an additional 2 damage to that.
Okay.
So an additional 1.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna try again with the other one. Let's continue to try this. Okay, that's a 19.
Yep.
And another 9.
Yeah, it looks like you just kind of like are putting some craters into the bark as you're just like rapidly stabbing into this guy, trying to make him let go of you.
That's about right, yeah. That's pretty much all I got right now.
All right, Umok.
Actually, wait, hold on.
It's gonna.
May I very quickly?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
I realized I have an action. I have a bonus action. Can I use my cunning action to attempt to disengage?
So you have the feat that makes it to where you can make both attacks as a standard action instead of one as a bonus action?
Correct. Yes. That's
Okay, then yes.
That's what you weapon fighting stone. Yes. All right. I will do that then. I will disengage. Try to move away. Try to stay out of this thing's grip and pull back so that it's quite
Okay.
as handling for me.
Go ahead and make an acrobatics check to try to break out of the grapple. And he'll
Roger
make a strength athletics check to oppose you.
Okay. Doing that. 20.
Ooh, that's really good. Yeah, he got a 13, so you are able to squeeze yourself out of his fingers.
I'm going to tuck into the cloak and sort of use the folds to sort of slide me down the middle so that I fall out and the cloak kind of comes with me afterward. And then I'm just going to sort of use it to roll back. So I have my full movement, which is 30 feet. So I'm going to try to move back. Come on, buddy. As far as I can up into the rubble. And I'm not sure if that's on the wall or not. There we go. So I guess I can only go 20 feet.
He
and
is
sort of-
unfortunately going to use his reaction to make an attack of opportunity.
With the disengage?
Oh shit, you're right. Thank you. I forgot you took disengage. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
My bad. Brain fart.
You good. You good. I'm still not used to being rogue myself. And I'm going to slip over into the corner and be like, ooh, that's close. And a problem. And
So
that's
for
gonna be
flavor, he swings his arm out, but you're much too fast. Okay, Umok.
Umok is gonna rush in because he senses danger,
Okay.
and he sees a big tree, and he's reckless about it. First, he's raging, you know.
So bonus
He's
action
gonna go
rage.
into a rage. Yeah. And then he'll reckless attack.
Okay, 2 attack rolls with advantage.
Or never fought a tree before, is what he's saying. And draconic.
You gonna do it? Okay, there he goes. Taking a minute. Yep, definite hit on the first one.
Nice.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, the slashing damage seems to go all the way through.
And then he attacks again. Once again.
Definite hit.
There we go.
He slashes through the tree. It looks as if the tree is about to fall down. And then at the last minute, it snaps itself back upright from his blows, reeling against its very existence.
Umok ends his turn.
Darvin.
Darvin's gonna run up and join Zarn
Okay.
at chopping away at this tree. I don't know why he got advantage on that, but okay.
Reroll it without advantage.
I don't know why it did it. I just
Oh, because it says he's unconscious. There you go. Can't be unconscious.
Pretty nice.
Awesome. Roll damage.
not bad.
How does Darvin kill the tree?
Oh hell yeah. For flavor, can I say that he and Zarn like both pull back their weapons and slam it into the tree at the same time?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so in the haze of combat with all the chaos going on, we see Umak do like his somersault flip over and like slam into the tree, knocking it backwards. Before it falls over, it reaches up and grabs Umak and like throws him against the wall, slamming him hard. Just in time for Zarn and Darvin to rush forward, and both in unison, with axe and blade, they thrust and stab deep into the tree's guts. Flame washes out once more, and in a heap of scrap and bonfire, the treant is dead.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
Well, that was unpleasant.
Indeed. I have tree guts all over me.
Why'd you guys climb the tree?
You suggested it.
I was a little worried about this. Heschel's gonna step forward and see if he can't scavenge the corpse for that glowy thing.
Yeah. So you begin searching over the tree, and you can find on the very top part of it, the last piece of it that's kind of still together, there's this like gold and emerald scarab sitting on one of the few branches remaining, while the fire of Zarn's fury turns the rest of the creature to ash.
I'm just gonna pop that off and look at it. Is it actually like a real bug, or is it just like a decoration?
Oh no, it's a real bug. When you pick it up, it, faster than expected, circles around your hand and then comes like up onto your finger. It weighs like nothing, and it chitters, and its wings flap at you, and then as it like crawls back around your hand, you feel weight begin to push into your palm, and it looks like a solid piece now. Some perfectly gold and emerald scarab set into the most gorgeous of amulets.
Well, that's both adorable and gorgeous, and probably very valuable. I like this. This one's cute. Huh. So, Magic Tree tried to murder us, has this.
It's medallion
looks-
on your character sheet, for the record.
Ooh, sick. So we have this medallion on this one. Oh no. There was a medallion in the other room too. I think this is a life and death thing. Whoever made this wanted us to go into both chambers and brave the peril there, and get the items from inside, and that's probably what takes us deeper. Oh, damn it! We're gonna have to mess with the bones.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
there's still another room over there. At the
Well,
beginning.
Maybe let's just backtrack to the skeletons for now. Go ahead and deal with that. I'll go poke some bones.
I'm gonna stay back a little more this time and see if I can't hide more discreetly in the background for the inevitable attack, so I can at least do a little extra damage beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we could start with having Darvin cast his Spirit Guardians on the skeletons.
I believe that he cast it on himself, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check on that.
It says you can. Let's see. They flit around you at a distance of 15 feet for the duration.
Around you, then, yeah.
Yeah, so he just has to go within 15 feet of them.
Yeah, I was just making sure that we made the specification that he cast it on himself and not a specified point, only on himself.
Yeah.
Okay, so he cast it on himself first, and you can go ahead and apply that to him and make sure that you take off the spell slot.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, so I will go ahead and go to thing, Spirit Guardians, I'm gonna click that. We drag that onto himself. Now he's got it on, and I feel like his DC should be higher. Why does it say 11? We're just gonna go ahead and boost that a bit. It should probably be. Let's see. His wisdom is +3, so it should be +6, so it should be 14. So we're gonna go ahead and put +3 on there, and that should say it properly. Okay. So he goes in first. He's not too stoked about this. Are you following behind him, Zarn?
Yeah, I'll be right next to him.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to hide in the entrance, like maybe over here by these pebbles or these rocks on this side.
Okay, you can move yourself wherever you want to be.
Yeah. And try to get myself a little discreet and get my hand bow out so that I might be able to take a shot at the first thing that moves in there.
Okay, Kanan and
Yeah,
Umar?
okay. Kanan is going to stealth to.
Into the opposite corner?
Yeah.
Okay, and Umok.
Umok is going to. He's going to walk with Zarn and then.
Okay. So, as Umok makes his way in there, you can kind of see the pulsing, like, respond, like the veins respond to the light. It's like it almost recoils in a way, like shivers away from the torch.
He doesn't like light.
Darn?
He's just gonna ready action to whack the skeletons as soon as they presumably start moving.
Okay, so what are you gonna have Darwin do?
Darvin and I walk up to be within 10 feet of them, and then he casts his Spirit Guardian on himself, and they need to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Who's they?
The skeletons, if they are sentient.
The piles of bones?
Yeah,
They're not animated yet.
I mean,
If they do even animate, this might be something wholly otherwise, which I'm.
yeah. Well, I
Either
guess
way,
we stand there, and Zarn will reach out and grab the amulet, and that will probably trigger something.
Umok needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Umok?
Yep. Because he's in the gate.
No,
Oh no.
not the mock.
Ooh, he is gonna get clipped by the gate as it comes slinging outwards.
oof.
The blade-like appendages deal 11 damage to everybody's favorite lizard folk.
He takes half, huh?
He's not still raging. He's not been in combat.
Oh.
Yeah.
The blades slice out from under him, and he lunges forward out of their path. Oops. And then shit gets really nasty.
Of course.
Oh, the door closed. No.
Oh no.
Wait, Are you guys on the other side?
Yeah.
Yep.
So much for being stealthy. Is Umok on the other side?
No, he's
Or
with
is
We were
you.
so stealthy, we missed the encounter.
Okie dokie. Pow, 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 pow.
Knew they were gonna come to life.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your initiatives, everybody. Did you already do so?
No.
Sorry, I should have had you go ahead and do that. That's my bad.
Let's do it. Whew, a little better.
All right. So, on the plus side, when you remove the amulet, the veins shrivel instantly, burning in this blue-purple fire. From their very source, all the way down to the last tendril, the fire consumes it. And then a plume of the fire erupts from the center of the statue. Skeletons on either side of you and Umok begin crumbling up from their shambles. And not just the ones that are here, by the way. You see more climbing out of the bone piles that aren't on the combat tracker yet. And then out of the fire, you see 3 skeletons on fire.
Oh,
Step.
of course. You guys are really missing out in here. It's so much fun. You have no idea.
Ashwell?
Right. Taking a look at the door, I'm gonna do what I can to see if there's a way for me to get that dang thing open. He's gonna take a look and see if the gate is at all movable. How does it describe? Is it like just a solid gate, or is it like actual like a metallic gate that has holes through it?
So the actual like not palisades, what are they called? Portcullis itself, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
It seems to be made of bones, made of blades made of bone.
Okay, but it's not like 100% solid. There's holes I can shoot through potentially.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I can at least contribute to this fight. Let me see if I can give you a hand, and I'm gonna pop my self out of cover and take a sneak attack at Burning Skeleton number 3 or number 2 over here.
Okay.
In the dead center. So let's see, it's gonna be under actions. So I was hidden. What is the I just want to take a look and see. So it hasn't taken a turn yet. Oh, okay, so I do have advantage.
Mhm.
Nice. Alright. Advantage. Hand crossbow. Huzzah! Sick, 23.
Okay, and make sure to hold shift for the crit.
Oh, yes.
Assassin feature.
Thank you. Very fair. All right, so just let me grab this. And all right, Burning Skeleton number 2. Take it. Nice.
Yeah, you explode the burning skeleton with a shot from your bow. You want to describe it?
Yeah, he literally just sort of like grabs one of the bolts out of his quiver and clicks it back into the back of the hand bow with one swift motion, and pulls the trigger and fires it, and it flies through and it hits the skeleton right in one of the eye holes and sort of pops the head from the sheer force of it, and just sort of goes back and it's like, oh, I hate skeletons, and is gonna slide off to the side again with the rest of his movement and hide.
Okay. Fantastic. Go ahead and make that hide roll for us.
You got it. Skills. Stealth roll. Out of 23.
Yeah, you are fairly confident that you just turned around the corner, shot, and then still maintained your concealment the whole way through. Fantastic. And is that your turn?
Yep, I pass my turn.
Okay. Darvin. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to describe something. When the skeleton exploded, the fire that was wreathed around it goes back into the central column of flame.
So Darvin and Zarn are still in sync after the last battle. So Darvin's gonna go ahead and use his handy axe on the nearest skeleton to him.
Okay, so that's going to
Which
be
one?
number 2 or number 1, whichever one you prefer.
We'll go with number 1. Nice. Oh.
Did they already take damage from the spirit guardians?
No, they will on their turn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He does a little damage to one of them. Still getting warmed up.
Yeah, he slashes out with his axe, and it bites into the bone of the skeleton, but it doesn't seem like the skeleton... It seems like the skeleton can take more.
He was expecting it to be more fragile, and he's like, oh, okay, gotta hit it harder.
Alright. Darn, still taking the acid from
Oh.
earlier.
Oh no, I was not aware of that. My beautiful skin.
I believe it is a certain number of turns. Yeah, it is expired. Okay, it is your turn.
Who's the closest skeleton to Zarn?
Skeleton number 4.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Get wrecked.
How do you kill it?
Oh, I just completely smash it to bits with my rod. It just slammed right into its ribs, and it just, like, crumples beneath my blow.
Yeah, it shatters into a million bits of bone.
Great. Who's the next closest?
There's a burning skeleton number 3 or skeleton number 3.
I'll go for the burning guy.
Okay. Hit.
Right. Awesome.
Okay. It
Okay.
looks like the fire damage did not seem to do anything to the skeleton.
Yeah,
It's just a blow.
It's already on fire. But, oh, that is my turn.
Umok.
Alright. Mark is gonna reckless attack the fire one. So,
So remember, he has a limited number of
What is
rages
it?
per day.
yeah.
So is he going
He's
to go
just
into a
gonna
rage?
reckless attack.
He has to be raging to reckless
No, he's
attack.
gonna. Oh, he does. Oh,
Yeah.
Um, he's just gonna do a regular roll.
Okay.
What's that? 3.
Oh
No.
no.
He
Second
missed.
attack. Oh no!
Oh no!
Alright, he bites.
Bonus action bite.
Oh, there we go. That's the ticket. What damage is that?
It is going to be, so it's going to be immune to the poison damage. Umok takes 5 fire damage, and it's going to be, it should be on there, his bite attack.
It doesn't have damage on it.
It doesn't have a damage on it. Okay, okay, I can fix that real quick. Ow.
And he hits. There you go.
Okay, as the skeleton explodes, I'm going to need a saving throw from both Umok and Zarn. Dexterity.
Oh, it explodes.
Yeah, I need a dexterity save from both you and Zarn.
1 second.
Rolls 18.
So he's fine, even though he takes the fire damage. Unfortunately, Zarn is going to take
Damn.
2d6 fire damage as the skeleton
Ouchie.
explodes in flame, covering Zarn momentarily awash, and it foments back into the central column. Okay, is that Umak's turn?
Yeah.
So Skeleton 1 is going to make a Wisdom saving throw. Skeleton 2 makes a Wisdom save. Skeleton 3 is actually out of range. So he did. And then this Burning Skeleton is... Okay, so the first skeleton passed, the second skeleton failed, and then the Burning Skeleton passed.
Okay.
So you can just roll the damage and then I'll apply it. You can just roll it in the chat. Or double click it. Okay, so 13 to the one that failed, which was 2. It instantaneously turns to ash and dies away. The other 2, however, are not dead yet. The skeleton, not dead, is going to make an attack roll at Darvin. He hits. He deals damage. Darvin is able to keep the Spirit Guardians up. The next skeleton is going to attack Umak. It is a horrible miss. This burning skeleton over here is going to hurl flame at Darvin. Oof, it misses. Kanan.
Kanan is going to use she can see through, right?
Yeah, you can see everything that Kanan can see. If you click on the token, it'll show you
Alright.
everything you can see.
I'm going to sneak attack. No, I'm going to use a Ray of Frost on the burning skeleton. Is that advantage, right?
Yes, you do have advantage.
Okay. Let me roll it one more time. Oh, double 15. So he's gonna take how much? It should be 2d8, right?
Yeah, it should be on there.
2d8. It has this 1d8.
It only has 1d8. You want me to fix it? I can fix it. Ray of Frost. Go here. And grab another one. Right there. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does it look like when you destroy the
Okay.
skeleton?
Oh, I just use it's kind of like the way Kyra used to use her Iron Man thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You,
Stu-
go ahead.
Yeah, I just shoot it through the door, like the door is fighting with him.
Yeah, it comes soaring through the air, crashes into the creature, flash freezing it, and then it shatters a moment later into chunks.
Oh yeah.
Ashwell.
Ooh, okay. Seeing as how things are going on the other side, I'm gonna do my best to throw a little aid to Darvin. And again, I'm just gonna pop out so I can see, take my hand bow, and just shunk into attempt to in Skeleton 1 here. So let's try this. Unaware, so advantage. Okay. Why did it not do that? Oh, right. Okay, hang on. Gonna do that again. Sorry about that. That was should be with advantage on it. Why did it not? Oh, right, because I need to actually press the advantage button. That'll do it. Okay. Huzzah. So that's also an 11. Nice.
They have an armor class of 13, unfortunately.
Alas. All right. take a shot. It whizzes by, and I'm just gonna again sort of grumble and go back over here and hide again.
All right, so this was my bad. I forgot. When the last burning skeleton exploded, the central column had a blast of flame gout out that is now reaching a fever pitch. It is burning so hot that it is beginning to turn white. I need Darvin to make a dexterity saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Hope that's enough.
It is not 15, so...
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, well, that's a low roll. He only takes 6 fire damage.
Okay. That's not
As
terrible.
the plume of fire, like a jet engine, roars. It's his turn.
He sees how battered Sarn is starting to look, and he's gonna throw, Cure Wounds his way.
So he's gonna have to move for that.
Oh, then, can he wait? Oh, can I have Sarn go first, then?
No.
I guess take the heal back.
Okay.
I don't want him to move.
For, so you were at 31. Okay.
Instead, he's just gonna whack again with his, axe. To whoever is closest to him,
Okay.
which
The
is...
skeleton.
Skeleton 1, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay, never mind.
Your turn, Zoran.
Zarn is gonna see the fire skeleton's dead. Is he close to any of them, or does he
He
need
can
a
move
bit
through
of-
Umok's square.
Okay. We'll move over to that one. Is that one or... That's 3, right?
Yes. Yeah. Destroy.
Now I'll go up to skeleton number 1.
Yeah, because you're fast as fuck. You got mobility. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Goodbye.
Nice.
That's one very dead skeleton.
Your triumph is short-lived, Zarn, as you obliterate the
I
two
would like
skele-
to, before you have anything fucky happen, use my bonus action to heal myself.
Go right
with,
ahead.
What is it again? Second wind?
Go right ahead. So it's 1d10 plus fighter level.
Why didn't that work?
Hey, Soul, welcome in, buddy. Thanks for being here. So you heal for 13 points,
Oh.
so that takes...
I don't know why I had Darvin roll it, but
That's fine.
sorry, go ahead.
So your triumph is short-lived as you obliterate the two skeletons in a flurry of movement. There is a large skeletal claw that rips out of the fire, slamming down onto the ground near Umok, and then again on the opposite side. And this huge abomination of bones and flame, all mismatched. It looks like a dragon, but it is made from the bones of all the people that were slaughtered here. And it is
Fun.
its turn.
Oh no.
So it is going to make its first attack against... well, first it's going to make a wisdom saving throw against Darvin's ability. He fails, so he's going to take the full 3d8. You can roll the damage. Oh, that's a good roll.
Good job, Darvin.
The radiance washes over the bones, blackening, or turning to white the bones that are charred black from the infernal flame. It is going to now make its attacks. Darvin's first.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it misses somehow.
Mhm.
Nice.
It is going to
Okay.
make another claw attack on Darvin. That one's going to hit, and ooh,
no.
thank God for Warcaster. Darvin takes some bloodied bruises as the creature rakes its claws across him, but he is able to keep the spell up. And then with the last attack, it's going to attack you, Zarn. Ooh, that was almost a natural 1. Instead, it was a 19, so it deals minimal damage to you. You are feasibly safe within your plate mail as its claws rake across you. Umok.
Mark is gonna rage again, bonus action.
Okay.
So he's gonna walk up and reckless attack. Oh yeah.
Good.
Mm. Nice. Nice one. And another one.
Another one. Another one. Nice. Yeah, so in a flurry of movement, Umok charges out with his his great axe, slamming into the side of the creature's hand, and then when it like rears up to slam it down on him, he jumps out of the way and brings it back down, chopping off one of the skeletal misshapen fingers. Kanan. Oops.
Right, Kanan is gonna. Do I still have advantage?
No, because you did not take an action to hide again.
Oh,
The rogue can do it as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Just rogue things, hashtag.
Okay.
Yeah. Hashtag rogue's got a rogue.
Yeah. Hashtag rogue's got a rogue.
So, chill touch on it.
Okay.
This is good.
Do I need
It's gonna
to increase the damage die of your chill touch as well?
No, it's still good.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then, yep. Wait. Okay. Yep. Oh yeah. Can't regain. There you go.
Excellent. Yeah, so your shadowy skeletal hand reaches out and rakes across the creature's face, pulling off a pelvis that was serving as like a part of its lower jaw. Ashwell.
All right. Seeing, or sort of like glimpsing around the corner to see all the madness that's happening, he's just sort of breathe and be like, "Oh my god, I had a simple life. I was picking pockets. I was stealing from the wealthy, stabbing the odd debutante. And now I'm out here doing this." And he's gonna pop around the corner, pull out the hand bow, and for whatever this is gonna be worth, he's gonna take a shot at the thing's eye socket.
Did you hide last time?
Yes, I did.
And what was your roll for your...
I don't think we ever did the roll, so I'll
Okay, go
do
ahead
that.
and do that.
Let me just actually get that out. There we go. Whatever this is, a 20.
Yeah, you just needed an 11. His passive perception's 11, so...
Okay, excellent. So we're gonna have the hand crossbow, which is gonna have advantage. Yoink. Nat 20.
Nice.
And that's on top of the sneak. That's nuts. Oh, how does this work?
So,
Okay.
here is something that I wanted to propose to you guys as well. It's up to you. I really like exploding criticals. That's something that's in L5R. So, whenever you crit on something, it's up to you guys if you want to do it, because this means that it can happen to you too. You can roll another d20, and if it hits another 20, then you can add another multiplier onto it. So, for instance, you do 3 times critical damage. But that's if you roll multiple 20s in a row. So, it's up to you if you guys want to do it. But keep in mind, that means it can also happen to you.
As cool as it would be for me to do 3 times damage exploding as a rogue right now, I'm not keen on that happening to me. So I'm okay with not taking it. I'll just do my normal double crit damage.
Okay, so everybody wants no exploding dice?
That's for me. I know what
I'm
you mean.
indifferent, so if nobody else wants it, I'm fine not having it.
Yeah, if they're not doing it, you know.
I'm willing to live on the wild side if you guys want to. I'm just...
I think the consensus is no, which is completely fair and safe, because I wouldn't want to be on the side of a triple crit either.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so I have...
Exploding stealth roll.
Yeah. So, okay. So I have an exploding hand crossbow and damage, and I have the sneak attack as well. So that's 10 out of that. And the sneak attack. So 19 total.
Did you crit the sneak attack damage as well?
It would have been... Yes, it was critted as well.
Okay, excellent. Alright. Yeah, you send a bolt straight out of its eye socket. Bones go flying in every which direction, and this bestial roar shakes the very foundations. It's going to make a Constitution saving throw. And it fails. So, it is going to take an additional negative effect. I have, where is it? Crit tables. I don't think I loaded it. Where you be, crit table. It's not here. Okay, that's fine. I don't have it loaded right now. For this sake, I will say that you reduced its attacks by 1 this round. It can only make 2 attacks instead of 3.
Awesome. With that, he's just going to make a little whoo, and then pop back behind here again, and try to stealth himself away again with the bonus action.
All right, Darvin.
I'm going to make that stealth roll now.
Okay.
Oh, that's a problem. An 11. Oops.
It's tracking you. You pissed it off.
Damn. Okay, that's fair.
Great. Darvin. He's pretty close to it, isn't he?
Oh, he's right up on it.
Yeah. Okay. He's gonna hit it with his axe. Probably not gonna do a lot of damage, but we can try. Nope.
His axe glances off the bone.
Don't worry, Darvin. I got this.
Nice.
So close to a crit.
Was.
Oh, still a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you slash out at part of its head, collapsing its lower jaw. And you drive it home, jetting the fire down its gullet. It is roaring in agony, but it is still mostly in one piece.
I don't want to see what it's about to retaliate with. So,
Gonna
bring
do
it
to
on, I
him?
guess. Fuck it, yeah. Let's action surge.
Action surge. Action surge.
Okay.
Oh yeah, how do you kill this guy?
Sick.
How tall is it?
It's large, so it's about like 10 feet tall. If you count its wings, it's like 20.
when it like swoops down to maybe like try and take a chomp out of somebody, I like definitely duck down like right underneath its throat so I can just shove my flaming sword right up where its throat would be.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was going to do everything within its power to try and crump both you and Darvin next turn. And as it backed up to like slam down on you, you, as you described, deftly like pivoted in there with a flick of your wrist, shoved your sword of flame into its stomach and ripped it outwards, throwing it over your shoulder and sending all of the bones that composed of its body into every which direction. It explodes with a gout of your green flame, and the false skeletal dragon is no more. The column of flame disintegrates, and the gate opens once more.
Alright. Darvin and I are like high-fiving and just like doing a little celebratory dance like, alright, 2 major kills in a row.
Darvin is... sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Darvin is singing your praises. He is pretty sure that you killed the tree in the other room, and he knows that you killed this thing, so Darvin is just starry-eyed.
We are gods, Darvin. Gods!
What were you going to say, Ami?
I was just going to say that Admiral's just like grumbling and exhaling happily, like, okay, any more things that weren't alive that are going to come alive in this hallway tonight? Well done in there, by the way. Oh,
thank you. We're just having a great night, apparently.
Mm-hmm. So there was an amulet in there last I was here. We probably won't find.
I am going to go ahead and pull that up.
Sarn will toss it over to the rogue for safekeeping. You've got good sleight of hand, so you can probably keep it hidden.
I'll catch it and inspect it best as I can.
You see that this amulet itself is fuck, I just completely blanked. It is an eye that is like kind of glowing from within. There's a sapphire set into it that hums with energy, and the moment that you caught it, you started tasting that ozone in the back of your throat.
Ugh. Well, it's definitely magic, and I'm going to put it in the same pouch as the other amulet and lock that up nice and tight. Alright, so where do we go now?
Sarn's gonna take a moment to have Darvin heal himself, and he's gonna heal both of us. Umak, you need some healing?
Umak is at 15 wounds out of 68 hit points.
Ooh, yes.
So he's taken 15 damage. Sorry.
Oh.
Eat it.
I think I'll use my potions as well. And then we'll be ready to go.
You're gonna use one of your potions?
Nah, well, I think we're fine. We're both at... He's at 14, I'm at 15 now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Alright.
Same.
So, the three of you make your way out of the horrible, horrible bone pile. And where do you go?
Everyone did hear me say that it was going to try to kill us, right? Everyone did hear that.
Yeah, I mean, after further inspection, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
This is just the first floor.
Oh, great. There's more.
gonna be down here for a while. Well, where to next?
Guys.
Should we go check that room? The one?
I mean, the one that was over here with a weird door.
The Knights. The
Oh,
Knights of the Round Table.
There was something there in set gems that might have something to do with these amulets. Unless there's something on this door over here that could relate to them.
So you inspect the door, and when you look over it, you see that there are 2 slots on opposite side that you didn't quite see the first time that you looked over the door, but now you dust away the cobwebs and you feel the grooves.
Oh. Well, I think I found what our 2 amulets are for. You folks want to go through the door, or wait till we go back? Because we will definitely pass that room on the way back, I figure.
Yeah. Let's see it open.
Alright. I'm going to bust out the 2 amulets and see if I can inset them in the stone and alternate the position if I have to.
Yeah, so you place them both in, and you can feel them kind of like magnetize, like whoomp, into their like stations.
Nice. Alright. Let's see if the door opens now. I just sort of give it a gentle push.
When you pull down on the handle, you can see that the amulets in their slots rotate with the door, and when it finally, with a great sound like decompression, the handle freely swings back into its position once you open the door, and the amulets like kind of unseat themselves.
Just gonna take those back then. I think that's our way in, folks. Shall we?
I guess I will lead the way and hope nothing bad happens.
I'll follow and try to look for traps.
You make
And
your
we'll follow as well.
You make your way into what is, for lack of a better word, clearly a crypt. Skulls line the walls and the floor. Ossified, fossilized bone is the very foundations of these rooms. There's a spiral pillar in the very center, with skulls ranging from adult all the way to child that are smaller at the top and kind of get bigger as they come down towards the bottom. There is a thick black veil directly in front of you, Zarn, where the room cuts off.
Okay. Like a physical veil?
You can't really tell. It's like wavering, and it's just inky black that eats the light of Umok's torch.
Can I prod it with my rod?
It just goes straight through.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe someone can do an Arcana check.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
I'll wait for you so you can slide by.
Yeah. That's good.
You close your eyes, and your eyes roll back into your head, and you call out to the Raven Queen for an answer. And for a long moment, there's no response, and then you can hear this whispering in the back of your head, and a trickle, like a faucet, slowly starts unveiling what is before you. A black, ephemeral veil. A separation between here and the plane of negative energy.
Mm-mm.
Is it safe to go in?
You don't know?
Can Darvin try Dispel Magic on it?
Go ahead and mark off the spell slot. Nothing happens. He tries to dispel any effect that he can, and it's just a void.
Okay.
All right, this is going to seem a little primitive, especially with all this magic, but let me try something. And I'm just going to take a rock and throw it into the void.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can hear it land on the other side.
No.
Oh, well, that's not good. Well, not reassuring, at least.
That right there is either a door or something that obliterates whatever goes into it. And not gonna lie, I'm not too keen on being the first one through.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll want to.
Cannon will stick her hand through.
Best of luck.
When you stick your hand through, you lose all sensation in it.
Okay, I stick a leg through too.
You lose feeling in your leg as well.
While she's doing that, can I do a history check to see if I've read or heard of anything similar to this?
Yes.
Okay.
Your people have legends of the negative energy plane. It's
My people have legends of this.
It's the place where all undead spirits are sent, or are said to have been manifested from. Eons ago, when the world was severed from heaven, when death broke its own shackles and made a manifestation of its own form, that was when everything kind of changed. The world stopped being as it was, this boundless place of endless possibility, and gray reality began to set in. Your folk have legends of the great Centilotl, the Serpent King. He was also known as the Great Red River, the first god to stand up against this new grim reality. And though he was mighty, and though he was powerful, he was slaughtered like a lamb.
Do my people say anything about whether it's like a safe place or if it would be dangerous to try and enter it?
It is anathema to all life.
What does that mean?
It is antithetical to all life. It is the opposite of life. The place itself is the opposite of life.
So I'm thinking we don't want to go in there and perhaps need to find a way to get around it or get rid of it, maybe?
Try taking your hand out. Is it okay when you take it out?
Alright, I removed the leg and the hand.
Kanan, your leg and hand are fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, I walk through then and see what happens.
Don't do it! The
Kanan,
legends!
you plunge into the black. Your very spirit is railing against your body, and you can feel it pulling against your skin as it stretches and tries to literally leave this mortal coil. But Temperance, the 16th card, is the only thing that's keeping you alive in this moment. Otherwise, you would be utterly annihilated, because you are no longer living.
Alright, I walk back out. I'm gonna tell them it's safe for me, but not for you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
was not planning on going in there. You are a much different, person, for lack of a better term, than the rest of us.
Yeah. Oof. Good luck in there. Anything you'd like while you're going in?
Can I do so was I able to just move freely in there? Or
You are.
Okay.
We'll,
Alright,
we'll
I'll look
guard
around.
out here.
I check it out. It's probably just a treasure, you know. It's always treasure.
The door opens
Case
to your touch.
scenario.
Huh?
I assumed you tried to open the door because you clicked it open, so the door opens to your touch.
Yeah. Alright, I go in. I do investigation.
Go ahead.
Oh no.
The place is utterly devoid of sound. There are no footsteps here. Your dark vision is limited, but something tells you that even if you could see, there would be no discernible real features. Blackness hides in the corners from your sight. There's this heavy, thick feeling of exhaustion in the air, and you're just used to doing it, so when you breathe, your breath feels like it's stolen when you exhale.
Interesting. Do I see this door over here?
Yes.
Alright. I'll inspect the door.
You open the door, and on the other side of it, a sarcophagus crushed beneath the weight of rock and rubble.
I will investigate further in.
This sarcophagus is not destroyed. On it, you can see the markings of various acts depicted by one knight. There's almost some kind of light peering out from the next corridor, but with the way that this place eats light, you're just not too sure.
I peek around the corner. Let's see what's going on.
There is a ornate sarcophagus in front of you. You recognize instantly the features of it are the Baron. There's a light.
Baron,
Ariok, yes.
the one who died?
Yes.
Oh no.
There is a light on black wicked candles burning. Barely making out.
Can I approach it?
As you approach it, you can feel this cold dampness start to leach into your body, and ice begins to crawl across the surface of the sarcophagus towards you.
Is it nice to me, or is it not very nice?
It stops short and wraps around the sarcophagus until the entire thing is coated in this rime of blue crystal.
Okay.
What's up?
I'm sorry about that. Can I open it? Is it able to open?
When you put your hands on it, you can feel this sudden burst of energy course through your left claw, which is the silver hand now, and you can feel whichever is your highest level spell slot expended restore as a surge of energy courses up your arm and into your soul. You see the sarcophagus slide off of its side, and gently it rocks onto the ground with a loud thud. From it, this translucent form rises into the air. No dust beneath it, and as it does, it begins to angle towards you and face you.
Do I recognize the person?
It's the Baron.
I say, I can't believe it's you. How'd you get here?
He calls out, confused, for a moment, and then, as if slowly recognition is seeping into his face, he looks around and says, I'm dead.
Yeah, the princess.
How did she? What did she do to me?
She lit you on fire somehow.
It is said that
She's
her
bad
arm.
news.
It is said that her arm is capable of annihilating one utterly, leaving behind no trace of soul. Then why am I here?
I explained to him that we're under the castle.
He nods. Yes, this was to be my tomb, but I don't understand. This is so much colder than my tomb. So much blacker.
Yeah, there seems to be a veil of darkness here.
The abyss below. It rises. I thought that it would stay trapped down there forever. Me, my sister, my general. For millennia we escaped death's cold embrace. An artifact of the most profound power. The Codex Chronos. We found a way to delve its secrets, twist its use, and extend our lives. It was 1,000 years. First time we used it. That's how long it gave us. We had to make more journeys as time went on. It got to the point where every decade, and then every year, but we were due. Next week, we were to come down. Now my sister, now my captain, they will wither to dust, and in dust they will join me. His spirit flies down into the coffin, the sarcophagus roaring as it plink, plink, slams closed. The ice shatters and turns to steam. And from a few rooms back, the sound of rubble being thrown off of something stone picks your ears. And that's where we'll end the session.
Dun dun dun.
Well, I can officially now say I've killed a dragon in Dungeons and Dragons, or at least helped kill a dragon in Dungeons and Dragons.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Let's go.
It was dead, but it counts. It still counts.
Still counts. Definitely still counts. Awesome. Okay, well, I want to say, before we go, Omni, do you have anything you'd like to shout out, my guy?
Yes, thank you so very much. Everybody out there, hi. I'm The Last Omnitect. You can find me on Twitter, The Last Omnitect, all one word. And also, I'm currently going to be taking the month off in order to work on my project, which is going to be my Legacy TTRPG project. So if anyone is interested in my science fiction setting, please, by all means, keep an eye on Twitter. I will not be streaming for this month. But after November, I'll hopefully be back. And in December, keep an eye out for the free demo packet I'm going to be releasing of the system with a couple pre-generated characters, an adventure hook, and also the base rules, at least the very core of the base rules, for you guys to experiment with. So it's going to be kind of crazy next month, and I'll be around. Probably here. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Anytime, man. My pleasure, dude. It is fantastic to have you on the show. I think that just having more people to play with, and especially more people that are more experienced with TTRPG, is kind of helping us all. I know it's certainly helping me out, because the more of you guys there are, the more of you guys there are to talk amongst each other. So that's wonderful for me. When it was Natalie and Jihan, I love you guys and I will play with you for the rest of my life, but it is very hard to get both of you guys to talk because you're so considerate that you try so hard not to talk over one another. So sometimes we're just
No, you go.
Yeah, we're like, okay, who's gonna talk? I'm like, okay, somebody.
Sometimes a little bit of aggression is helpful in that. I know the feeling, though. I've been on both ends of it in both types of parties where it's everyone needs to talk and no one needs to talk. And I'm happy to do whatever helps